Texas, the eyes of college football are on you tonight. The euphoria over 1998's many blessings still simmer throughout the state. Amidst all the excitement, a simple question arises. What's next? The Longhorns aren't alone in trying to replace a legend. NC State's Torrey Holt caught his share of hardware last year and then went number 6 in the NFL draft. Just one pick after Heisman Ricky. But the Wolfpack's record-setting quarterback Jamie Barnett returns, and he's right on target to become the most prolific passer in ACC history by season's end.
Royal Memorial Stadium, University of Texas at Austin.
They ain't ready. They ain't ready.
How about the horn? We're ready to take the nation.
You got to do what you got to do.
College football's opening weekend continues at the BCA Football Classic. The NC State Wolfpack and the number 16 Texas Longhorns tonight from Austin. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin, and a very hearty welcome to you and yours as we open this primetime college football this evening. And we're very pleased to be on ESPN2 tonight for this Black Coaches Association Classic. Well, I was not born in this state, and I didn't go to school in the state of Texas, but our family has lived in the Lone Star State for the last 30 years. And one thing you find out very quickly is that when you become the head coach here in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas, and you enjoy early success, as did Mack Brown last year, you truly become the toast of the town. Mack Brown came in. He took a team that most thought would be lucky to win 6 last year. They wound up winning 9. They also won the Cotton Bowl game on January the 1st. And, of course, they had a Heisman Trophy winner in Ricky Williams. But now comes the big question. Can Mack Brown and his staff maintain consistency sans Ricky Williams? That will start to be answered here tonight. And I also look back here at the 85,000 people in this very warm Central Texas night, and I wonder how much they know about the Texas opponent tonight. Well, I can tell you this, Mack Brown knows a lot about North Carolina State, and he and his staff are very worried. One of the reasons is the young man you saw on the tees just now, Jamie Barnett. He brings a very solid package to this game. He is a 4-year starter, and he is the glue as far as the Wolfpack is concerned. And remember one other thing if you're a Texas fan tonight and you don't know much about NC State. Last year, they were the only team in America to knock off 2 major college conference champions, I should say. They got Florida, and then they got Syracuse about 2 weeks later. Are Mack and the guys concerned? You bet they are. Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten are standing by. We're getting very close to the kickoff of this BCA ball game tonight from Austin between NC State and the Texas Longhorns. Welcome back to Austin, Texas, just moments away from the opening kickoff of the Black Coaches Association Classic between the Wolfpack and the Texas Longhorns. And as I gave you a preliminary just a moment ago, always pleasing to bring this guy in. It's our 9th year together on ESPN or ESPN2, Mike Gottfried. Mike, let's talk about quarterbacks. To me, it is a tale of 2 quarterbacks in this football game tonight. One who we've just shown, who is a veteran, 4 years, he's been a starter. But in White, he came on as a freshman from nowhere. Talk about the 2 of them.
Boy, Major Applewhite had a great year. Freshman year in the Big 12 Conference, led him to a Cotton Bowl win. Talked to Mack Brown yesterday, Ron. He said he's like a coach on the field. He understands our offense as well as any coach in the system. The other side of the field, if you're going to play on the road in the first game, you want a veteran quarterback. Jamie Barnett's that quarterback. Great quarterback for North Carolina State. Last year, the whole offense was schemed to get the ball to Torrey Holt. Tonight, Jamie Barnett has to find receivers, running backs, spread the ball around.
I hate to sound redundant, but every year he tells me the same thing. The first ball game, special teams makes the difference. You feel that way again tonight?
I do, Ron. You're vulnerable, high school football, college football, the first game, because you got new players on special teams. You haven't really timed it up. Coaches don't go full speed in the kicking game as much as they need to. In the game today, Penn State blocked a punt, turned their game around, blocking a field goal. We very well could have that same thing tonight.
You can see we are at least getting a little bit of a breeze tonight. as you look at Mike O'Kane, the head coach in the 7th year at North Carolina State. And across the way, the gentleman we were just talking about on the open, Mack Brown, who came down here, of course, from North Carolina, from Chapel Hill. Texas won the toss and they deferred. So North Carolina State will defer, and we'll get more about this from Adrian as we go on. But folks, this is really a factor tonight. It's 7:35 in the evening in Austin, and it is still 98 degrees. Thank goodness we have that 9-mile-an-hour wind. Partly cloudy, supposedly no chance of rain tonight. But the temperature has not been going down real rapidly as you take a look at Chris Stockton, who prepares to kick it off to Spikes and also Corrin for the Wolfpack. A lot of bouncing around. That's over. This game is underway. And he will kick this one out at the back of the end zone. And let's go to the sideline. Our partner always on this team, Adrian Karsten. What do you got for us, big guy?
Ron, I got one hot evening for college football. Yes, you're right. There's a breeze, but it's 100 degrees here on the field. And the heat's going to make a difference in this game for a couple of different reasons. First of all, both head coaches want to keep their starters as fresh as possible. By rotation, that means we may see some true freshmen in positions, but very honestly, they're not ready to play. Secondly, there are players in this game that will lose 12 to 13 pounds in perspiration, including the biggest human I've ever met, 6'6", 367-pound Leonard Davis. I'll keep an eye on him and the thermometer and see how they're getting along.
Okay, you stay cool down there. Barnett under pressure. He's going to be sacked on first down. And it's Babineau, who was the most valuable player in bowl last year. And he picks it up right where he left off. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for North Carolina State, Barnett. Casey Stone gets the start at tailback along with Derek Roberts, the fullback. The receivers, Vanderveer, the tight end, Coleman and Hamrick are the wide receivers. And up front, Borum, Fletcher, Weir, Knutson, and Todd Boyle. Loss of 5 on the play, so it's 2nd down and 15. We'll check Texas defensively in a moment. Gonna go with the running play. Has 5, has 10, and counted off at 12 yards. Casey Stone, the freshman out of Green Level, North Carolina. The starters on defense for Texas, the down 4, Humphrey, Hampton, Sean Rogers, and Cedric Woodard. The linebackers, very active group. Babineau, you saw him with a sack a moment ago. DeAndre Lewis and Everett Rawls. And the cornerbacks, Brooks and Walker, Quentin Jammer, and Lee Jack safeties. 3rd down, NC State. They need to take it to the 30. Coleman in motion. Straight ahead with the running play. Nothing for Stone. And it's Cedric Woodard. And this is what Mack Brown wanted to see. 3 and out as the ball is loose.
Ron, they've recovered the fumble. That's exactly what Mack Brown wanted to do. Mack Brown wanted to play defense first. He wanted his team to get good field position. They got the turnover. Their offense goes in great shape.
So Babineau, Mike, who had the early sack, also comes up with the fumble recovery.
A bad start for North Carolina State on the road. You do not want to turn the football over.
So Major Applewhite comes into the lineup as you see the celebration by the Texas defense. And we'll get the starters here just as quickly as we can after this first play. Back looking right over the middle, got his tight end wide open, Mike Jones. And Jones will take it almost for the first down. Smith on the stop. Here's the offense. Major Applewhite, Hodges Mitchell, one of the tailbacks. He will switch. Ricky Brown, the veteran at fullback. Jones, the tight end. Kwame Cavill, their favorite receiver, along with Ryan Nunez. And up front, a huge offensive line. Davis, Raessler, Blanchard, Kirk Hughes, and Corey Quay. 2nd down and 1, Texas. Pitches it back, Hodges Mitchell.
Movement on the offensive line of Texas.
So this one will stop play. We'll back it up 5 yards and give us an opportunity also to tell you that the officials for tonight's ball game are from the Southeastern Conference.
Dead ball. False start on the offensive line. Penalty. Still
Bill
2nd
Goss
down.
is the referee. And now let's check the starters defensively for NC State. They're down 4. Johnson, Fisher, Goodson, and Brian Jamison. The linebackers, this is an active crew. Fisher, Smith and Clayton White, and in the secondary, the All-American Lloyd Harrison. On the other side is Scott, Brian Williams, and Adrian Wilson of the safeties. Those two safeties are sophomores, but very good players. Second down and 6. Applewhite retreats. Now dumps it off. And again, this time it is Cavill. Puts a head down, and he is going to have the first down. At around the 12-yard line, Cavill is the man that NC State worries most about. He's the deep threat.
Ron, he's an outstanding receiver, but give Major Applewhite the credit, because as he looks over the scheme, he finds Cavill, but he's returning the nation's 6th highest rating returning quarterback, but he understands the offense, which I said in the open. He found the open receiver.
If you just are about to have played the first 3 minutes, NC State on a 3rd down and short, which they did not make, fumbled the ball. Thus Texas has it deep. Hodges Mitchell fights his way inside the 10-yard line, and the little guy hit by Fisher and Clint Johnson. Actually, Mitchell is not the tough inside runner because he's so small. He is tough, but 190 pounds. And Victor Ike is more the jitterbug guy. Kenny Hyder is probably the toughest inside runner.
And they all three may play. It's life without Ricky tonight. It begins here against North Carolina State.
Hodges stands 5'7". He's a junior. As you look at 2 wide receivers to the open side of the field. Second down and 7. It's Brown in motion. Mitchell gets outside on the right, turns it up close to the first down line, and it would appear that he has the first down at around the 2-yard line. Clayton White defense.
Ron, when you look at this matchup and you just look at sizes, this offensive line, Mike Jones had a good block to tight end number 81, but 325, 320, 305, 315, 367 along the front line of Texas's offense. North Carolina State has always been small in the defensive front, so they got to make them hit moving targets.
That's big Leonard Davis, who Mike was just talking about, and also Adrian Karsten at 369 pounds, 6'6". They go with the running play. Mitchell not much doing, and a nice hit by Nate Goodson coming from that right defensive tackle spot. He's a sophomore out of Roxborough, North Carolina. Also Harrison up from that cornerback spot. As Mike O'Kane looks on, and when I was up there 2 weeks ago, the thing he talked about then is mistakes. We can't have them, because last year in the big games they won, they played without the mistakes. Then they booted a couple of games that they should have won when they put it on the ground.
Yeah, you don't go on the road and turn the ball over the first time you've got it. And KJ Stone is a new tailback in there. I'm sure he'll come right back into the ball game.
Nunez at the top of your screen, number 22. They fake the run, looking in the end zone, and he's going to keep it. Touchdown, Major Applewhite. Chris Stockton to attempt the extra point. He's a junior out of Katy, Texas.
13, Chris Stockton to attempt the point.
High pass, gets it down to kick, and he's good. So with 10:08 left to play in his opening quarter, Texas jumps out on top following the turnover, 7-0. We'll return with more from Austin after this timeout. ESPN2's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the website at MBUSA.com. Welcome back to Austin. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, along with Adrian Karsten. And a scoring drive, the reason that the Horned Faithful are up and showing their hook'em, because this guy right here took advantage of a defense that got a fumble, 6 plays, 25 yards, using just over 3 minutes. And Applewhite took it in himself as he rolled out to the side where Nunez was located, and found out that the defenders had gone deep with the receiver, and he walked it in for the touch. Stockton to kick it off. This one incredible. From the 3. Hit knocked down short of the 15-yard line is Corin Robinson. And on the special teams, it looks as though that's Ivan Williams, who was a freshman running back.
Again, Ron, he decided to cut back against where his blockers were. He made a big mistake. Special teams, first week, nightmare.
Mike, put us in the shoes of Jamie Barnett. Now, what's he been told on the sideline, and what's going through his head right now? Because he knows on the road and a gift of 6.
Well, I think he needs to settle his running backs down. K.J. Stone was the early running back at the tailback position. He fumbled. It's his first start in the ball game.
Gets it again. Big opening on the right side. 5-10 out over the 30-yard line. Loses the ball, and it's recovered by Texas at the 39. DeAndre Lewis on the football, and that is a gain of what? 22 yards.
And Ron, that was Rashawn Spikes. So both, and here's the problem that North Carolina State has. Rashawn Spikes and Ray Robinson are the returning tailbacks, but they got hurt in preseason camp, so they didn't get much work. So even though they've got fresh legs, they're not in condition. But this is one play where he hasn't been hit. All of a sudden, he gets hit in the ball game by Quentin Jammer, fumbles the football. We've had 2 fumbles by 2 different running backs.
And as you could see, good call by the officials. He was coming down, but the ball was punched out by the Texas defender. So now Spikes heads to the sideline, and Texas again gets the ball inside the 50-yard line. This is Brown, the fullback, and he'll be wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. You can see Smith, the middle linebacker, Edric, a sophomore out of Northport, Alabama.
Ron, I was impressed with him last year in his Syracuse game. He got somehow from the University of Alabama and Auburn to go to North Carolina State, but he's an impressive linebacker. This is where the defense, they have to make a stop right here.
Got to step up big.
Or they're going to get on railroad tracks and get rode right out of here.
It's a loss of a couple as Applewhite turns and with an audible to his wide receivers. It's Montrell Flowers at the bottom of the screen. Pitch back goes to Hodges. Mitchell turns it upfield. Boy, is he blasted by Fisher, and then Edric Smith coming over to help out. So those 2 linebackers. Fisher had an awfully good scrimmage the day that I saw him up there, as well as Smith looking very good. LeVar Fisher really a headhunter.
These are small linebackers. They used to be defensive backs. They get moved a little closer to the line of scrimmage. You're going to see North Carolina State, as this game goes along, blitz a little bit more with those linebackers, trying to cause some confusion for Major Applewhite.
Cavill coming to the bottom of your screen, along with Jamel Thomas. It's Nunez in motion as they go with 4 wide receivers. Drills the pass, has it complete to Cavill at around the 32.5-yard line. And it's going to be well short. Now let's see if Texas will send the field goal unit on, or if they will punt it, as this would be a field goal attempt in the vicinity of 50 yards. And it looks as though Stockton is going to put his foot down at the 39. So a 49-yard attempt. His longest in his career was 53 yards against Rice.
Ron, on the last extra point, Lloyd Harrison had a chance, if he were laid out a little bit, to block the extra point.
And the pass from center was just a tad high. So we check it from the left hash mark. 49 yards. Gets it. Plenty of leg on this one. Does he have the accuracy? He does. Stockton from 49 yards. So 2 turnovers has cost the Wolfpack 10 early points. We'll take up at 42 left. First quarter, Horns on top. As you can see down on the sideline, it has dropped down to 95 degrees here at 5 minutes of 8. Last night, it was actually warmer than this, because at 9:15, it was still 97 degrees. And as you look at the cool zone that the players taking advantage of, or trying to as well, the big thing tonight is when you're not on the field, sit down, get some liquid, and conserve everything you can.
Texas is turning the heat up on this NC State team.
Stockton's kick. This is another deep one. It's going to be 7 yards deep, and Corin Robinson will not return this one. Well, coming up tomorrow on ABC, the opening weekend of the college football season continues as Michael Wiley and the 9th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes square off against the 12th-ranked Miami Hurricanes in the kickoff classic from the New Jersey Meadowlands. Game time 2:30 Eastern on ABC Sports.
Well, Ron, it's going to be interesting who comes in at tailback. Now it's going to be Ray Robinson. He's the third tailback.
Started off with K.J. Stone. He fumbled. Then Rashawn Spikes was the second tailback. He fumbled. And now they go with the sophomore, Robinson. And they've got him taped up very high. As you look at the blitz coming after the quarterback, and Robinson throws it complete. That is a great grab by Derek Roberts, a senior out of Putnam, Connecticut. And Adrian Carson, let's go back to you on the sideline.
I think the heat's got Adrian.
Yeah, may have gotten both Adrian and his microphone. We'll check back with Adrian here momentarily. Clock running. We're about to go under 7 minutes to play in this opening quarter. And 2 turnovers deep in their own territory have cost North Carolina State 10 early points. It's Robinson the only setback.
They so much blitz that they're going to bring Barnett back in the shotgun to give him a better view.
And go with the running play. Robinson, big opening on the right side, breaks it out, and he's going to have the first down plus about 9 more yards before DeAndre Lewis makes the tackle.
Well, you made the statement to me in the break that even though K.J. Stone fumbled and Rashawn Spikes fumbled, they had some holes and some big plays. And when you blitz a lot like Texas is, you get some openings. Now Ray Robinson breaks through, gets a first down. That's what NC State needs.
Texas with a player down at the 39-yard line. And it looks like Quentin Jammer, the free safety, who is on the turf and is being checked over. Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator, will be the first to tell you that through another good recruiting class this year, ranked by many as the top of the nation, they are getting more depth on defense, but still they are as far as experience.
Ron, their big question at the University of Texas is the secondary, and that's why Jamie Barnett, there's Carl Reese right there in the middle. Jamie Barnett just needs a little time and to get his running game going and then open up some receivers because he can challenge his secondary.
Jamie wears a special made brace that, by the way, yesterday they had gotten on the bus and were headed to the airport, and they had to turn around and have somebody go back because he had forgotten the brace, and it's special made. He says it really has helped him, but in talking with him, I asked him, what about the option? And he said, we only use it for effect just to make the defense think about that. But I'm not wild about running the option like I used to be when I was younger, before I had the knee problem.
He's not wild about it, but by running the option, he limits the coverages he's going to see on the other side of the field. Just like Jarius Jackson today running the option for Notre Dame. He'll limit the coverages that Michigan will run against him next week.
But it's hard to tell if Jammer has had the wind knocked out or if favoring his shoulder. He continues to raise that right arm. Maybe we can tell in this replay right here. Oh, he got hit by his own guy. Caught a shoulder pad right there on that right shoulder, or a headgear, I should say. First down, North Carolina State. This is their furthest point outside their own goal line. Breaks it again on the right side, and he is off to the races as Lee Jackson from his strong safety position makes the tackle. First a run of 19, and now here's one of 18.
And Ron, Ray Robinson made this play because he started off to the left and he saw this vision, the cutback lane. Watch the lane right back here as he breaks back against the grain. He had a high ankle screw a day practice and didn't practice much. The ACC Rookie of the Year in '98.
Robinson, as we mentioned, only a sophomore out of Hilton Head, South Carolina. First time across midfield for the Wolfpack tonight. Puts it on his hip after the play action, throws it, and just gets rid of it as he was about to be sacked. The Texas coaches wanting grounding to be called on the play, but the referee is right there behind the play, and he says no dice. There was someone close enough. Woodard is the man who had him in his grasp.
Ron, starting this ball game, Texas is manhandling the inside of the line of NC State. Sean Rogers, Casey Hampton, they're having their way. They're pressuring Jamie Barnett on the throws. That's why the running game's open, the backside of the running game, because Ray Robinson, they're so aggressive inside.
Butcher has come in at safety, replacing he's number 27. It is a second down and 10 for NC State. Texas leads at 10-0. But the Wolfpack got something going offensively. Here's the option play. Down the line of scrimmage, and it won't go anywhere because D.D. Lewis and Rawls, along with Cedric Woodard, coming in to combine on the stop.
What you try to do, Ron, when you run the option is, and I said it limits coverages. You don't like to be in a lot of man-for-man coverages in the secondary when somebody's running the option, because they can run you off, and all of a sudden the ball gets out in the perimeter. There's nobody to tackle him. But they caught Texas. They figured that Texas would be in man-for-man. They were in zone on that play.
3 wide receivers set for North Carolina State, and they'll go from the shotgun formation. 3rd down. And the line to make is the 32.5-yard line. They scrimmage from the 40. Blitz coming, passing, underthrown, or actually threw it into the grass, and I'm not sure. Coleman was the intended receiver, but I think Jamie just saw him covered and said, hey, I don't want to take a chance on an interception.
Yeah, Chris Coleman benefited last year with Torrey Holt being in the lineup, but he's going to face a lot of double coverage, and he did on that play. And I think Jamie Barnett threw the ball away, saw double coverage, threw it away.
Maybe a big break for NC State, because Casey Hampton started off the field and then disgustedly put his hands on his hips. This may be offside defense against Texas.
After the play, dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, creates a 1st down.
Worse than offside, major penalty, automatic 1st down, and it's down to the 25-yard line.
Ron, anytime you put a receiver in the slot, there's the double coverage on Chris Coleman. Anytime you have a receiver in the slot, you get a chance to double him with the safeties, and Chris Coleman's going to see a lot of that.
First and 10 from the Texas 25. Longhorns lead it 10-0, but NC State driving deep. Crowding the line of scrimmage, and he still breaks it out on the left side at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Robinson.
Ron, that's what they needed. Ray Robinson came in and gave him a boost. Corn Robinson made a good block on the outside. He sealed off the corner. But Ray Robinson is showing you why he was the ACC Rookie of the Year. Quick inside runner.
Kent Passingham will try to make it a 3-point ball game. The holder, number 22, Ryan Hamrick, the wide receiver, the senior out of Shelby, North Carolina. Passingham is a junior from Holly, North Carolina, and he's got the kick. And we will take a break with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in his opening quarter. And North Carolina State has answered. As we go to break, it's Texas 10 and the Wolfpack 7. We'll be right back.
Austin, Texas, where junior free safety Quentin Jammer is out of this game with a probable dislocation of his left shoulder. Significant because on that touchdown run moments ago by NC State, they ran to his side of the field, and with his great speed that is now out of the game, probably could have run him down, Ron.
Okay, so as we mentioned, Carl Reese pleased with his defense, and he said, as I mentioned, that they are gaining depth, but they're still extremely young, and that depth has to come. Moore will kick it off. Montrell Flowers, you were looking at a moment ago, number 2, one of the deep men. And this kick it's going to be at the 8-yard line and across the 20 to the 25. Montrell Flowers on the return. And Huff making the tackle on special teams. Here's that touchdown, Mike.
Ron, Ray Robinson just does a nice job of cutting back. You see the little scoot, now he cuts back. Now you're going to see Corn Robinson, number 5 or number 3 in your left corner. He gets a block on Joe Walker that springs him in the end zone.
Mike, let's find out. Here is what caused that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. That's number 49, Aaron Humphrey, who's a senior out of Lubbock, and you know the head coach is going to go to him and say, hey, you're a senior, you got to be an example and not a bad example. Quick pass, they swing it out in the flat. Nunez, 25, 30, 35, and Ryan Nunez, who was from right here in Austin, Texas, played his high school football at Westlake High School, has a gain of 18. He started off at Colorado and then transferred back to Texas, his hometown.
Great speed, Ron. He shows some quickness on that play. The little bubble screen, get the ball out to him and let him run.
Nunez, an outstanding running back in high school, but has been moved to the split position. His sister ran track at the University of Alabama. Whole family of good athletes. First down as you see the blitz being shown by NC State. And here they come. They go straight ahead with the running play. Hodges-Mitchell spinning forward for a couple. And that's about it. As NC State really aroused defensively, they have been impressive. They've shut down their own offense in practice. And I'm sure that they got a little frustrated having to come out so deep in their own territory after the 2 turnovers.
Ron, I said it. They're small, and they can't sit there with this big offensive line. They've got to move around. Anytime they've blitzed, they've had success stopping the run. Now they've got to get to major.
Second down and long. Texas needs to take it to the 49 to pick up the first. That's the NC State 49. 10-7 our game. Play action. Zings the pass. Got it complete. And this is Flowers. And Flowers pushed out of bounds with enough for the first down at the 46 by Tony Scott. It's good for 11.
Well, Major Applewhite, when you talk to Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, he just talks about how bright he is and how focused he is. And he was in a quarterback meeting, and he said, I've watched all the NC State film with you. And he said they've only brought the Mike linebacker and Sam linebacker twice. And right away, Major said, yes, 3rd and 4 versus Florida State, 3rd and 6 versus Virginia. Ron, he studies film. He knows what the defense is doing.
Well, he's 5 of 5 right now for 52 yards. Hodges-Mitchell on the right side, and he breaks it out. Big opening, and they're trying to take the ball away from him. Clayton White, the ball is loose. The officials say the play is dead, though. The 35-yard line, so give the little water bug Hodges-Mitchell a gain of 10 on the play.
Michael Cain trying to argue a little bit that the ball was pulled out.
Darrell Drake, the wide receivers coach for Texas, sending signals in to his wide receiver. That's Kwame Cavill on the bottom of the screen. Nunez to the top. 3-man or 3-down linemen for North Carolina State and 4 linebackers. And here they come with a blitz right up the middle. Applewhite has it complete and incomplete as Jones has it in and out of his hands.
Well, everybody's talking about Chris Sims, Ron, and he's going to have a tough time because Major Applewhite understands the offense. Chris Sims comes into camp, and he really shows a lot of talent, size. You practice. But the problem is freshman quarterbacks see the field through a straw. And the other quarterbacks see the whole field. But eventually, when he learns the plays and he learns the system, he'll be able to be a very effective quarterback.
And, of course, if you don't know, he is the son of Phil Sims. Quick pass and is thrown short to Nunez. Did he catch it or did he ground it? He would have been better off just to have knocked it down, and they are going to say incomplete, so they go back to the original line of scrimmage.
And you live here, so you read the paper every day, but I think Major Applewhite has handled it great. He says the same thing. Hey, you know, if I do my job, if I stay focused, I get first downs, I get that ball in the end zone, I'm going to be the quarterback. If I don't, they'll replace me.
Well, in the summer scrimmages, you see the numbers, and Sims is impressive. There's no question about it. He's a southpaw if you've never seen him. But as Mike said, he is still very young. He's only been to class for 3 days, and he's still searching his way around. Blitz off the corner. Apps up, and the ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, or did he just put it back in his stomach?
I think he put it back down.
That's Jamison who was right there, and that was a smart move. And for the first time tonight, Texas is going to have to punt.
And you're going to see more and more blitz out of this North Carolina State team. They want to get moving targets. That big, deep offensive line at Texas may be having a little trouble blocking the slants, the blitzing linebackers.
Jeff Snipes, he is the co-defensive coordinator with Kent Briggs. Chris Stockton waiting for the snap back at the 48.
Two very good coaches.
High, good coverage kick. North Carolina State runs away from it, and it takes a state bounce and goes into the end zone. So 39 yards in the kick, and they will come out and scrimmage at the 20-yard line. The season premiere of ESPN Thursday Night Football. The Oregon Ducks head east to take on Michigan State. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with College Game Night. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Ron, that's one of my sleeper teams, Michigan State. They got everybody back. This has got to be their year.
Let me tell you something. If they are as good as Penn State showed that league could be today, it's going to be tough to pay. This running play here will go for maybe a yard gain as Rogers and Hampton, the two defensive ends, pinch in. Joe Pa and his guys not only came out of the gates today. Wow.
They are good on defense. I think this is his best defensive team he's ever had. LeVar Arrington reminded me of LT today. He dominated that football game early. He plays with so much enthusiasm. He just was outstanding.
You know, last year we had him on January the 1st against Kentucky down in Tampa at the Outback. We knew then they had 78 players coming back off that team. And boy, today they showed how experienced they are. 2nd down and 9, NC State. Short drop this time. Jamie just off the target. Hamrick, the intended receiver, and he had him out there. Hamrick, an interesting story, was not a scholarship player. He walked on, but they gave him a scholarship, and Michael Caine says, you got to love him because he's one of those really hard workers. Not only works on his patterns, but he's worked extremely hard on his quickness and speed.
Ron, he was a quarterback in high school. He was the quarterback for Chris Coleman, and they took his team to a 15-0 season. So he not only came in as a quarterback, but he understands the passing game, and he knew he couldn't play as a quarterback, but he could play as a wide receiver. 3rd down, they need to take it out to the 30 to keep this drive going. And again, Barnett goes into a shotgun formation. Blitz coming up the middle, got it right across the middle, but not enough for the 1st down as Corin Robinson was hit with an ankle hackle. And special teams, Mike. Now, we have talked about the heat. I know that the Texas coaches were counting numbers and how many reps special teams players even have. And North Carolina State's going to keep most of their first teamers. Texas is going to go after this punt. They got a 10-man rush. They're going after it.
First punt by NC State tonight. This is Scott Earwood, a senior from Morgantown, North Carolina. And Texas is coming after him, and it is a great kick. High spiral and a signaled fair catch made at the 39-yard line by Hodges Mitchell. So Texas came after him, and he lofts a missile 38 yards.
Mallard, the long snapper, Ron, when you in a pre-game warm-up in the first game, in every game, they're going to time him every snap he makes. Everett Withers, the defensive backfield coach, here he is, Everett Withers. He's timing every snap in pre-practice. He writes it down. He goes in and tells around, hey, I think we can get this guy's punt. But Mallard had a good snap on the first one.
Well, we see a new tailback for Texas. Hodges Mitchell gets a rest. And Victor Ike, who is from here in Austin, in the game, and he breaks it open. 5, still on his feet. 7, 8, almost 9 yards. They are different kind of runners, as Ike is one of those quick kind of kids who will give you a dance and a dead hip, and he's gone. And Mac made the point yesterday, in every scrimmage they've had, he's broken along with.
And Ron, he's running on the left side. Leonard Davis, who you talked to, Mac Brown said maybe the best lineman that I've ever coached, and Roger Racler. So they're just dominating on that left side. You see them, that's big time wrestling. They're just throwing them over.
2nd down and short. It'll be a gain of 9. Little counter play, and Victor Ike still on his feet will have the 1st down. And the applause from the crowd. This time the blocking on the right side by Kirk Hughes and Corey Quay. Ike is from Bowie High School here in Austin. He is 5'11", 195. He's a redshirt freshman. So one of the reasons that they wanted Hodges Mitchell to start tonight is because of lack of experience by Ike. That is the end of the first quarter. We'll take a timeout with Texas leading 10-7. Back with more after we pause for this break. Part of the Longhorn Marching Band in attendance tonight as Texas leads it 10-7 as we head to the second 15 minutes of play in the situation. 1st down Longhorns at the NC State 45.5-yard line. It's Ike in motion. NC State, they blitz off the corner, picked up by Brown, and the pass is complete just inside the 40-yard line. Knocked away by Harrison, and the boos from the crowd. And there comes an unsportsmanlike conduct flag now on Harrison. And Mac Brown applauding because the coaches were saying after what happened to defensive end Aaron Humphrey that they wanted a reciprocal action. And the officials throw the flag.
Well, Lloyd Harrison's noted for talking during a ball game. He said, I don't want to be a trash talker. I talk to my own team. but I'm sure he had something to say to Montrell Flowers.
I think because he punched the ball out, Mike, is the reason he got the flag.
To the play, dead ball foul. Sportsmanlike conduct on the defense. Penalty's 15 yards, creates a first down.
Ron, you're looking at Lloyd Harrison with Dre Bly gone and Poindexter gone from the ACC. You're looking at probably the best defensive back in the conference, or one of them. Good coverage on the play.
Well, he's a competitor.
Yeah.
And we talked to him yesterday. He's on the Playboy All-American team. And he just to mix it up. He is that kind of kid. He is extremely competitive. Started as a freshman. In fact, the two corners are just like the two safeties. Started as freshmen, and of course the two corners are now seniors.
They're good in the secondary. Here comes the blitz again. They're slowing the running game down with their blitz.
This time it's Burnett, who was a freshman right out of high school, along with Clayton White. D'Antonio Burnett, number 45, is a youngster that the NC State coaches really like. They think that he is a little bit of kind of the old-time throwback stuff. They think you're going to hear a lot from him before it's all said and done.
Yes, true freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia, and they said they're going to have a hard time keeping him out of the lineup.
Second down and short. This time North Carolina State backs off defensively, right over the middle, and oh my goodness, he had Chris Smith wide open. That would have been good for a touchdown, and Major Applewhite, who is normally very accurate on a second and long, elects to go over the middle and really crossed him up.
Yeah, he had a good shot at this because of the play fake. He really buried the football trying to get it to Chris Smith, the tight end.
Look how open he is, Mike.
Here's the good little quick draw fake. Tony Scott steps outside. Chris Smith goes inside. He's way over.
From the shotgun. Pressure on the outside, gets this pass out in the flat, has it complete to Thompson, and he's going to miss the first down. You can see the foot of the official by a half yard. Lloyd Harrison on the tackle, and now all of a sudden 80,000 coaches stand up and say, go for it.
Ron, Clint Johnson with a hit on Major Applewhite, and he got up a little ginger, but that's why Chris Sims, we showed him a little earlier, that's why he's going to have to play, because he's one play away from taking over this job. So Mack Brown wants to get his ball game.
Fourth down, and they'll go for it. You could see about a half yard is what they need. Applewhite straight ahead with the quarterback sneak, and I'll tell you, I don't know if he got it or not. He stretched the arm out, but he didn't get it, I don't believe.
Ron, his knee's bothering him. Now, I don't know whether he took a shot on that knee, but when he went back to the huddle, the knee was bothering him a little bit. He's trying to work it out.
Boy, if they get this, it is just going to be by the nose of the football, because Fisher and Clint Johnson just collapsed the pile. And on the first effort, I know he didn't get it. Then a second effort, he tried to bounce back in there. And when they stretch it out, let's see. He did not get it. The NC State defense has held. And Mike Cocaine bounds down the sideline. And on the other side, Mack Brown, anything but bounty, because they walked away and left one on the table there.
Yeah, I think Major Applewhite was hurt on that play. I think he was too high on the quarterback sneak. You got to lower your shoulder a little bit. But a big stop by NC State. Now Jamie Barnett, he's only got 6 passing yards in this ball game. He's got to come to life. He's got to, some receiver's got to step up. Torrey Holt's not here anymore.
Robinson, the tailback. It's Derek Roberts, the fullback. Coleman in motion. He has not caught a pass yet tonight. And here comes Robinson. Breaks it through and having to hit by Lee Jackson, the safety. I'll bet you that when Major Applewhite, after this ball game, talks it over, they've got 3 timeouts left. He will say, probably I should have taken a timeout, loosen that leg up, and talk to the coaches.
No doubt. I agree with you. I don't think he was ready for the quarterback sneak.
Right.
I think he was still stunned by the play before.
So Chris Sims looking on. Robinson now 4 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown, and a timeout has been called by the Wolfpack. So we'll take the break with them. 12:18 left until halftime, and it's the Longhorns by 3. ESPN2's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Good look at the top of the famous Texas Tower here on the campus of the 40 acres. And a pull back into the stadium. This stadium was lowered. The field was lowered by 7 yards. And they took the track out during the off season and moved the stands closer down to the field, which added another 5,000. And by the time the complex is said and done, and with more decking to the north end zone and to the south, it'll be 104,000. Quick pass, got the screen, and oh my goodness, what a hit on Coleman as Casey Hampton, he caught the slip screen, cut back into the middle, and Hampton, who weighs 305, was right there to collar him.
Yeah, Chris Coleman, next time he catches this pass, is going to look upfield a little bit more, because Hampton, who's 305 pounds, breaks outside and runs real well. Just made a heck of a hit.
Casey, one of the veterans of this defense. He's a junior out of Galveston Ball High School. Very good against the run. Has been a starter. This is actually 2.5 years for him. Third down, and the line to make is the 24.5. Guess got it complete for the first down up across the 30 is Vanderveer, the tight end, the sophomore out of Charlotte, and Barnett with his third completion. And Mikey had a lot more zip and set himself better on that ball.
That play was designed to go to right to the tight end. It was a tight end option. Jamie Barnett, they put him back in the shotgun. Having a little problem with the blitz. Drills that football in there on the option play for a first down. Big, big play. Ron, they need to keep their offense on the field a little bit. Hot night. Their defense has been on the field.
So NC State moves the chains with the line of scrimmage now at the 34. They trail it by 3, 10-7. Texas creeping up, blitz from the outside. Barnett under pressure, and he's going down. 73, Sean Rogers, and for the second time tonight.
The ball across the goal line. They're having a huddle down here, the officials. There's the hit by Edric Smith. Possibility of the ball being dead or not. I don't know what this conference could possibly be other than that. But we'll soon find out.
Bill Goss, who was out of the Southeastern Conference, the referee tonight.
Maybe an inadvertent whistle. Here's the play we're talking about. Hodges Mitchell takes the hit out of bounds by Edric Smith. Flag goes.
Here comes the explanation.
There was a fair catch signal given by the receiver. The receiver should not have advanced the ball. That's a 5-yard delay of game penalty. The ball should never have been in play. It's first down, Texas.
So that erases the 15-yard penalty. So NC State comes out of this pretty good. Ball's going to be back on the 2-yard line. Mack does this.
Well, this is a rule that you have to question because there's still the hit out of bounds.
Shouldn't have happened. It's like on
so we got a commercial coming and we'll take it. 9:02 left until the halftime. It is Texas by 3. We'll be right back. So we're back. We'll get an explanation. They stepped off the 15-yard penalty after more deliberation, and we will get an explanation hopefully on the sideline in just a second.
There's the
they're about
catch.
to go back to play. We'll save this replay for just a second.
There's the fair catch that he made.
So from the 17-yard line, swings it out of the backfield. Hodges Mitchell at the 20, gets what he can, and then goes out of bounds. William Pennell is there. Now let's take a look at it again. And again, we are efforting to get an explanation from the officials. All right, now he signals for the fair catch. but he muffs the ball, and the ruling by the official is that he should not have advanced the football.
Now he advances and gets his clock cleaned by Edric Smith.
And they came back initially, did not step off the penalty, and then they came back and said, yes, we were wrong there. Mitchell, left side, his turn to flip as he crosses the 25, close to the first down by Brian Williams.
Good tackle by Brian Williams in the secondary. He's a freshman. Now he's a sophomore, but his freshman year, he was a running back. They had to move him to defense because of injuries. Adrian Wilson went into the Florida State game as a true freshman. He looked up on the next play. Brian Williams entered the game, and they just smiled. So they played in that Florida State win as true freshmen. And Mike O'Kane said they may be the two best safeties we've ever had.
Texas with a first down just across their 25. Mitchell, no place to go, and he's going to be hit and knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. And coming up is Adrian Wilson, the strong safety. And here's Adrian Karsten with more explanation. Adrian?
Explanation from the SEC group of officials, Ron, is this from both Bill Gauss, the referee, and line judge James Bing. The ball should have been whistled dead at the catch of the punt. Because it was not, the play continued. Therefore, they had to assess both penalties. Ball should have been called dead at the muff. It was not whistled dead. The play continued. Therefore, they figured they had to assess both penalties, and that's what Mac Brown was protesting.
Okay, Adrian. Thanks very much. We were discussing as that pass is thrown complete to Cavill, and boy, they hem him in. It's interesting the respect for Cavill that NC State has. Just Texas has respect for Chris Coleman, knowing that either one of these guys can break a game wide open at the drop of a hat.
Well, Mac Brown said he's one of the best receivers in the country, and Darrell Drake coaches the receivers. You see just a little quick option route. Wayne McGarity went to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys coaches said that he was the best prepared wide receiver, which is a compliment to Darrell Drake, Mac Brown, and Greg Davis.
No question. Third down, and Texas needs to take it to the 37 if they want to keep this drive going. NC State showing blitz on the outside, and here they come. Applewhite under heavy duress, and he is going to be knocked down by Corey Lyons, and that's going to be actually short of the line of scrimmage, so they'll get credit for a sack.
Both quarterbacks are under duress. Both teams' strategy defensively is to make the quarterback step up, find a throwing lane, blitz them, and now North Carolina State gets a chance to go after the Texas punter.
Number 33, Ryan Long, who's a junior in Texas, to kick it away to Chris Coleman. Texas has come after the Wolfpack tonight. Let's see if NC State comes after the Longhorn kicker. They do, and they get it. Blocked at the 5-yard line, still rolling, and that is knocked out of the end zone. I'll tell you, Mike, that's a touchback if he doesn't score a touchdown.
Give it safety.
Safety.
Ron, what you want?
Leak got it, number 10.
I watched the Notre Dame game today, and they blocked a field goal, and then the guy tried to pick it up. But when you're out in the field, you want to just scoop it down, keep knocking it down toward the goal line. But when you're close to the goal line, you've got to get on it. You want the touchdown.
That cost them a touchdown right there. I said touchback. Obviously, I meant safety. But once it went to the end line, play is dead. You can't re-grab it. Here comes Leak, the number 4 tailback, who has been moved from wide receiver, and he came clean over there.
And, Ron, when you're close to the goal line right here, it's not get on it because you want the football in the end zone. But they just bobbled it. Again, effort. They're giving effort. A big turnover, kicking game. We talk about it all the time. First game, you're vulnerable.
Well, Coach Gottfried said those special teams. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. 3 left to play in the first half, and we got a fight right here. Texas 10, NC State 9. And following that ball that was blocked by that young man, Leak, it is a safety. And this is Long with the free kick. Coleman, the deep man, from the 31. 40. Comes to the sideline at the 45, and he will take it back to midfield. So NC State with great field position following the safety, and they're within a point of tying this one.
Here's the block by Eric Leak. Low snap. Now scoop it up and get on that. They just couldn't grab the handle. Kicked it, and the ball gets out of the end zone for a safety. But still, that's a big boost for this NC State football team. Now, Ron, they got good field position on the middle return after the safety.
So let's see if this Texas defense can stand tall as Jamie Barnett, the senior out of Roxborough, North Carolina, goes under center. 3 wide receiver set. Here comes the blitz. Barnett gets hit just as he unleashes it, and it's overthrown. Hamrick, the intended receiver.
Well, they might have got away with a hold on Hamrick there. It looked like somebody grabbed him. A little pump fake, and Hamrick, they tried to get the ball to him on the corner.
Quinn Jammers back in the ball game. Number 6.
So throw that note away that said he was out with a dislocation.
Well, I guess the young man said, well, I'm not that bad. Robinson, the ball game. For Jamie Barnett, 5 of 9 for 28 yards. 2nd and 10. Robinson at the line of scrimmage, and this time they just stack him up behind the line of scrimmage. Babineau, the first man. Adrian Karsten, let's go to you again.
With just over 5.5 minutes left in the second quarter, it's still 95 degrees Fahrenheit down here on the field. The players do have a little bit of a break, though, Ron, because this SEC officiating crew has not put the ball in play as quickly as I thought they might, so they get another 5 to 8 seconds breathing time. However, halftime cannot come quick enough for the NC State defense. These guys have been running and chasing the ball because Texas has been running so wide outside the hash mark, so they can't wait to get to halftime at this point.
Adrian, that's a good point, because you get a fast officiating crew, they just tire you out a little quicker.
1 of 5 on 3rd down conversions, NC State. Tech blitz, and here they come. Picked up nicely. Got him open, and he overthrew Coleman. Had him in the flat. Defensively, Brooks was out there, but he had him beaten by a step.
Ron, just add to the weather. Mac Brown and his staff called Raleigh and checked the weather for the last 2 weeks at 3:30 in the afternoon when NC State was practicing, and 7:30 at night. He kept reporting it to his football team. He said, you know, it's going to wear them down. And by the 4th quarter, that's when we got to take this game over.
Well, they've come after the punter twice, and Earwood has responded nicely, and he gets away a dandy. This is a rocket. Going to hit at the 1 and take a Texas bounce and into the end zone. Earwood has been one of the stars for them tonight. A college football doubleheader next Saturday on ESPN at noon Eastern time. A showdown between Baylor and Boston College. Kevin Steele's first game as Baylor's new head coach. And then at 7:30, South Carolina debut of Lou Holtz as the Gamecocks take on Jamie Barnett and the Wolfpack of NC State on ESPN Saturday night prime time. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Kevin Steele has paid his dues. Former assistant Tom Osborne in Nebraska gets his first head coaching opportunity at Baylor.
DeVille in motion. Ike is back in a tailback. Texas sets to throw. Good protection this time. Gets it out in the flat at the 30, 35, and this is Ike as they got him out of the backfield, and he's loose. Victor Wright, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Texas, 80 yards.
Texas is going to go for 2 here. One of the tacklers coming on the field. The guard, Roger Raisler.
Texas is going to call a timeout so they don't have a 5-yard penalty.
Ron.
So we're going to take a break, Mike. Get back to your point in just a second. 4:31 left until halftime. At our score, Texas 16, NC State 16-9 as Victor Reich continuing to be congratulated on the sideline after running 80 yards with that short pass. Texas has changed their mind. They're not going to go for 2. They will go for extra point with Chris Stockton kicking. As soon as the extra point attempt is done, we'll take you back and give you a closer look at that play that went long distance. Stockton gets a good one, and he splits it. Now let's go back and take a look at the 80-yard play.
Ron, Greg Davis with a nice call. The offensive coordinator at Texas figures man coverage. You're going to see the tight end clear out, cross, corner route by Ricky Brown, and then out of the backfield working against the man coverage of LeVar Fisher is Victor Ike, the tailback. Watch him right here as he comes out. Now he gets the football, picks up the block. Now breaks, shows you the speed. And Ron, you said in the scrimmages that all fall he's been breaking big plays for touchdowns.
He has broken a long one for a touchdown. You're right, Mike. Every time he had scrimmage, it was Brian Williams. He just left right there. And the interesting thing about Ike is he looks as though when he runs, he kind of glides. He doesn't. There's not a lot of wasted effort, but he's covering a lot of ground.
NC State, 4:31 on the clock, still have 2 timeouts. A lot of time to answer the score.
Well, a few decades ago, there were a lot of signs around for the presidential election that said, "I like Ike." Those things may return in Austin, Texas, if he does a few more of those in this first year of his career. Robinson and Spikes are the 2 deep men. 4:31 left until halftime, and Texas extends that lead to 17-9. This one is returnable. At the 5-yard line is Spikes. Take it to around the 25. A lot of whistles, no flags. So NC State will take it over with plenty of working time. Actually, the Texas defense didn't get much of a breather because of the long distance job.
No, and Ron, here's what hits me right now is that we're getting ready to go to halftime. Jamie Barnett, the loss of Torrey Holt. Last year, Michael O'Kane tried to figure ways to get him the football. Coleman on the other side benefited by the fact that Holt was on the field. Somebody has to step up. Maybe Corin Robinson, number 3. But they got to be a target for Jamie Barnett.
Barnett under center this time. It's Coleman in motion. And with the running play, Robinson spins off one tackler and then is going to be knocked down by Quentin Jammer, who looked as though he even made the shoulder that he had injured. Well, tough young man. If the doctors had taken his shoulder pads off and said, "You're done for the night," obviously he's a pretty good politician too, and talked somebody into something. Quentin, a junior out of Angleton, Texas, which is just south of Houston. Second and 7. Here comes the option play. The pitch fumbled by Robinson, and he's fortunate just to knock it out of bounds. In fact, that was the smart play. No sense in trying to pick that thing up. Casey Hampton was all over Barnett and causing him to make the errant pitch.
Now Texas is thinking about that clock a little bit. They still have 2 timeouts. If they can stop the Wolfpack right here, they can get that football back, go after the punter, make some things happen. And you get your backman Derek Green. So a lot of things happening here on the sideline. If you're Michael O'Kane, you're hoping your senior quarterback Jamie Barnett can pick this first down up. They threw to the tight end successfully a little while ago. Let's see if they go back to him.
Also keep an eye on the leak. Got it in the flat. Complete. That's Hamrick, and not going to have the first down. Clock will continue to run as he didn't get out of bounds. He's tackled at the 33.
Big tackle by Marcus Wilkins. Kept him from getting the first down. Now Texas gets a chance to let their special teams make something happen.
They saw the pressure by Texas the first 2 times, and they have sprinted on the field.
Run right out on the field, snap the ball forward, they can get ready.
Scott Earwood. And this time the Longhorns with a 10-man rush. Let's see if they come after it. Hodges Mitchell is the deep man. And there's movement by NC State.
What you do in practice is as you get your punting team set up, guys will make quick moves and to try to get somebody to flinch, and I think NC State flinched.
Dead ball, false start on the offensive line, 5-yard penalty.
Well, one of the guys to look for, Mac Brown said, as far as a potential punt blocker, is number 19, Jeremy Jones. And Jeremy was one of the kids who had broken free just now. Let's see if they try to get him loose again. Coming after it, and he gets it away nicely. Oh, what a driving spiral. Mitchell all the way back to the 15-yard line. And, of course, there's nobody to help him out because everybody went after the punter. And let's check in again with Brian Kinney.
All right, guys, coming up at the half, of course, we'll have a look back at the top 5 battle, and Penn State looking as good as the hype. And Florida State taking on Tim Rattay, bit of a shootout there. And the game day crew, led by Chris Fowler, has the wrap from Happy Valley. John Makovic joins me at the half. We'll see you then.
Ron, we're looking at a center exchange. They're having problems. And I believe Jamie Barnett is going through 2 centers. Trying to get a little more comfortable. Derek Green.
Derek Green, only a freshman out of high school. Quick screen in the middle, got it complete. And Cavill hurdles one tackler and can't get away from Johnson. And Clint, who's a junior out of Decatur, Georgia, on the stop. Guess what he wants to be? He's a pilot. And he wants to go into OCS training so that he can fly the rest of his life. Loves airplanes. And I said, Clint, let me ask you something. Are there a lot of airplanes that you fit in? He said, not casually, no.
Well, we'll see him as much as we fly.
About to go under 2 minutes left in this first half. Here comes the blitz again. Applewhite gets it in the flat. Nunez can't hold on. A little bit too high.
You got to be smart in substituting tonight because Texas's plan, Adrian mentioned it, to run wide. Make your big linemen run wide. Then they drop back to pass. You chase the quarterback. All of a sudden, your defensive linemen get tired, and then they can't tackle, and they can't rush the quarterback. So, coaches, the biggest job they got tonight is substituting, keeping guys fresh.
3rd down for the Longhorns. They need the 34.5-yard line. Applewhite 11 of 15, 160 yards and 1 touchdown. Blitz again. They pick it up. Pass. This is going to be well overthrown. He just threw this one away. And Huff, one of the guys from the outside from the cornerback position, coming after the quarterback. And we're punt. Ryan Long was blocked on the last kick. It was knocked out of the back of the end zone for a safety.
I'd keep coming after him, too. I'd make sure they knew. Because sometimes you may not block the kick, but you're going to get the punter to maybe shank one.
Coleman, the deep man, as he drops off just inside his own 30. They got pressure on him again. And a driving spiral. Coleman misjudged it and dropped it. Going after the football, and it's going to be tackled inside the 25, and that's a mistake on Coleman's part. Greg Brown with good coverage by the Longhorns. 44 yards in the kick and a -6 on the return.
They had things set up pretty well, too.
Lloyd Harrison, Mike number 2, was very close to getting his hands on that last punt.
Just got to stay with it because that can turn this whole football game around. Caught it wrong, had his hand.
Then it bounced off his face mask, and he's lucky to have the football back for his team. Robinson lining up at tailback. From the 21, Barnett sets to throw out in the flat, and he throws it too low. Chris Coleman, the intended receiver. And Adrian Carson, let's check in with you again.
Unfortunately, to Keegan Weir, the starting center, a broken right fibula, broken right leg, so he's done in this game. I don't think that they're working miracles in that training room to bring him back with a broken leg, unfortunately, Ron.
Okay, Adrian, thanks for your quick results on that. And that is indeed tough for NC State because, as we mentioned, he hadn't started a game before tonight. Mike O'Kane was extremely concerned about him, and now they're going with a kid straight out of high school.
You got to change your protections now. You got to help the freshman center. You got to get him some help. Texas putting a man right on his nose.
Outside, and Barnett, he delivers it, but boy, he got hit, and the ball is incomplete. Jamie really got taken down hard, but he also is one of those type of kids that appears to just pop right back up.
Well, we talked to Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator of Texas, and he said, we just want to keep knocking him down. We get so much respect for him as a quarterback. We want to make sure that we hit him, that he gets the pass off. We want to take him to the ground. Wilkins got a nice hit on him there, but want to wear him out. Make him find throwing lanes.
Marcus Wilkins, another young man that the Texas coaches really like. He's only a sophomore from right here in Austin at Westwood High School. It's third down, and they need the 31.5-yard line. Leak in a tailback. Hit just as he throws it, and it's knocked down and incomplete. Brooks was there to knock it away out of the hands of Ryan Hamrick. And now Jamie Barnett is beginning to take a lot of punishment. He's standing in there tough, but he's been hit after the last 3 passes.
And Ron, the biggest difference I see in North Carolina State now and then last year is Torrey Holt made such an impression on the football field. He made such big catches. No one's stepping up making the catches for Jamie Barnett.
10-man rush again by Texas, but they back off and have the return on. And this is another howitzer. I mean, Hodges Mitchell all the way back to the 19-yard line. And they had to return on, and he may have outkicked his coverage as Mitchell is very close to the 50-yard line.
Ron, that's the first sign of a tired football team, because we talked about the specialists, our defensive players. They were slow getting down the field.
57-yard kick, and the thing is, Michael, it was not very high.
No, it was very low.
Mitchell being able to catch the ball and turn right back around added pressure on the special team.
And Texas had the right call in. They've been rushing the punter. All of a sudden they held everybody up to get the return.
Well, let's see if the Longhorns go to the air or keep it on the ground. Victor Ike is back in the ball game, and Applewhite lines up shotgun. Rolling the pocket this time, gets it complete, and they get out of bounds at the 44 to stop the clock. That's complete to Brandon Healy. Brandon, a junior out of Carlsbad, California. One of the few youngsters who's not from the state of Texas. They don't have many that are from anywhere other than Texas.
All they have to do is recruit right here. Of course, they got a quarterback from New Jersey. Chris Sims.
17-9. Texas leads with 1:10 showing on the clock until halftime. Applewhite gets this one to the other side of the field. Nunez juggles it and then gets out of bounds. That'll move the sticks, and it only took about 6 seconds on the play.
Well, the worst nightmare now for McKean is that Major Applewhite's going to take his team right down and score, which would be a heavy blow to this Wolfpack football team. They look tired on defense right now. Michael Cain's looking at the clock. He knows he wants to get this first half over and get his team in and rest them a little bit.
And remember, Adrian said a moment ago, as the breeze has died, it is still 95 degrees in this stadium. And we are just after 9 o'clock Central Time. Blitz off the corner. They swing it out to Nunez. Puts on one move and is hit from behind. Loses the football at the 25-yard line, and it's recovered by Nate Goodson of North Carolina State.
You talk about a big break. Now, this is a big break for the Wolfpack because Texas was manhandling them on offense.
Brian Williams, I believe, is the man who hit him from behind, along with Huff, and caused the football to come out of the hands of Nunez.
Williams, number 29, with the hit. Football pops out. Is it Goodson gets on it?
Yeah, that was Nate Goodson with the recovery. NC State with 2 timeouts remaining, 56 seconds on the clock, and Leak is back in a tailback.
Delay of game on the offense, 5 penalty.
One of the other things, and you're blessed by having a veteran quarterback, but Barnett has to be so careful to make sure he doesn't come out from center too quickly with the new center in the game.
Ron, that's Chris Coleman right there. He's in the slot. He's probably going to get double.
Pressure is on. Pass is overthrown. J.J. Kelly, a junior out of Brenham, Texas. Number 84, putting pressure on the quarterback.
They're frustrating Chris Coleman right now because last year nobody was going to double him because everybody had Torrey Holt. But all of a sudden you get a linebacker in front of you working with you. Now you get picked up by a safety. He's looking for a flag. He's feeling like they're grabbing him a little bit.
It's another freshman in the Texas secondary, Jamal Joyner. He's out of Dallas Carter High School that has produced a lot of really good athletes over the years. Second down and 15, and this is Elite. Takes it off in, let's see, the 20 and out to the 25. Now it's going to be 3rd and 11. Let's see if Texas uses a timeout.
Well, they got North Carolina State on the ropes a little bit. I'd use my timeouts because they're dragging.
Clock runs to 31 and now 30. In NC State, they're just going to run this thing down as far as...
They want to get to the locker room.
Yeah.
They're like a boxer waiting for the bell.
16 seconds, now 15. In fact, about 3 seconds difference between the game clock and the play clock. Robinson hit hard at the line of scrimmage, and that appears to be the final play of the first half, and we are at halftime. With our score, Texas 17 and NC State 9. Now with the halftime report, let's rejoin Brian Kenny and John Mackovic. Gentlemen. And Mike Gottfried, let's talk about Jamie Barnett, the quarterback for North Carolina State. The thing that really got my attention, the last 2 series, every time he threw, he really got tagged. That starts to take its toll, and he was not as accurate.
Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator, said we're going to knock him down as much as we can. But I think there's a problem for North Carolina State in the first half. It's twofold. One is the protection. They're breaking down. The inside of the offensive line is not allowing Jamie Barnett anytime to set up. You see him running for his life. And any quarterback, when they're on their back, is not going to be effective. The receivers can't get away from coverage. They're getting doubled. There's Chris Coleman being doubled. Texas is bumping and running the other receivers. They can't get away, so it's a twofold problem.
Total yardage, 228 Longhorns and 138 for North Carolina State. And I thought a very, very good point made by John Mackovic in the fact that Ricky Williams is gone. But between Hodges, Mitchell, and Ike, you add 109 yards between the two of them. That's more than Ricky probably would have had at halftime. So you accomplish just what you're searching for.
The difference in this ball game, Major Apple had the better half, and he's controlled this football game. Jamie Barnett needs to deliver, but he needs help.
You see on the sideline again taking the snaps, and for those of you who joined us late, it is because of the injury to the starting center, Keegan Ware. He's gone, has a broken leg. So a true freshman, Derek Green from Charlotte, North Carolina, is the man who is executing the snaps. Here's the kick. This is Moore's kick, and it's short. Going to be taken at the 10-yard line by Victor Ike. And Ike falls forward to around the 29-yard line. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
All right, Ron, just how significant is the heat in this game? Well, we kicked off at 100 degrees here on the field. It's now 90 degrees. We go Leonard Davis, the offensive tackle for the Texas Longhorns, started this game at 367. He went into the locker room at 359, which means he lost 8 pounds. There are 8 pounds exactly in 1 gallon. How much did Leonard perspire? Well, there you have it. Obviously, he didn't lose it all at once, but the point is, very seriously, he only had about 8 to 10 minutes in the locker room to replenish all of that liquid and get back to where he was when we kicked off this game.
Mr. Wizard, thank you, Adrian. That's a good report. Straight ahead with the running play, and they this time use the other side of the line. Kirk Hughes and Quai.
You were out to practice Tuesday. He had problems cramping up on Tuesday's practice.
He is just so massive, but when you're up close to him, you realize that Leonard may be the biggest human being you've ever been around, but he is not just a real fat kid. But he really did. He cramped up, and I'm wondering tonight, I know that they've been keeping a close eye on him. You remember his brother, Charlie, who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is Ike feeling his way. You notice a totally different kind of runner from Hodges Mitchell. Weaving, finding way, where Hodges is more the Sanders type of runner who's going to bang it up in there.
Yeah, Hodges, they showed him films of Barry Sanders in the summer. They wanted him to move a little bit more like him, cut, move in the hole, try to find the openings. Victor Ike, it looks to me like he has more inside speed.
Also, the impressive thing we talked during the halftime is that Ike runs effortlessly. Obviously has had some good training as far as teaching running, because no wasted effort. He just kind of glides. Here's the pitch. This is Brown. The big fullback will put a head down and take it for around 5 yards to the midfield stripe. William Pennell, a sophomore out of Cornell, Georgia, a reserve strong side linebacker, comes over to make the tackle.
I thought North Carolina State showed signs of fatigue
right at
the last
halftime.
5 minutes of the first half. They need to pick it up a little bit. They wilted a little bit just before half.
Second down and 5. Mike mentioned in the first half when they had the most success, it was off a blitz. Here they come again, and Applewhite just threw this one away. He saw that his receiver, Chris Smith, was covered. Clayton White, a junior linebacker out of Dunn, North Carolina, was the man who was coming after him very, very quickly. He's one of the youngsters that we visited with yesterday at the hotel. And just, you know, he said that Major reminds him of Jamie when he was a freshman, as far as the way he looks and hunts and picks and is not greedy. He'll just give you exactly what you allow him. He'll take it. Third down and 5. Here they come with the blitz off the corner. Out in the flat, had it complete, and he let him too much. Jones made the catch, but he fell down. And Texas will have to punt as Adrian Wilson was rushing the passer.
Ron, in this situation, in the punting situation now, when you're around the 50-yard line, it's punt safe for you. You set up, you're not sure whether they're going to punt. They could fake it. You don't want to really go after the punter here. You may have a combination on some one side rushing the punter. Texas a little late getting on the field.
Well, Mike Jones is only a sophomore. It's going to cost him a timeout. Those special teams in the first ball game, and Coach Gottfried always talks about them. And it cost them a charged timeout because Jones was not on the field. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. College football is brought to you by J.P. Morgan. Well, Bevo's got to enjoy this. No more artificial stuff here at the stadium, just natural turf, and that's what he is accustomed to. It is punt time for the Texas Longhorns. Ryan Long, who's been blocked once tonight, went out of the back of the end zone for a safety. Waits for the snap at the 36, and they come after him again. Not a particularly good kick, and is going to bound inside the 20-yard line, though. And this one, aesthetically, not a high number, but boy, it got it done. 34 yards in the punt. Next Saturday here on ESPN2, another college football doubleheader. At 3 o'clock, the AXA East-West Showdown, West Virginia and East Carolina. That's from Erickson Stadium in Charlotte. Then at 7 o'clock, Wyoming will take on second-ranked Tennessee with Heisman candidate T. Martin back at quarterback for the defending national champion Volunteers. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Mike, we're going to give you a graphic here in just a second. We're out with a broken leg. We show you the yardage while he was in there and since he has left. Robinson hit at the line of scrimmage, and that is Rogers along with Hampton, who are going to muscle him down. So if you want to know the difference, Knutson now is at center. As you look at Weir on the sideline, before his injury, 18 plays, 106 yards, and since he has gone out, 16 plays and 43 yards.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame that entirely on the centers, because Weir's a sophomore and Derek Green's a freshman, but I think some of the snaps that Jamie Burnett was having a problem with.
As you can see, Knutson, senior out of Westchester, Ohio, is at center. He's number 7. Texas showing blitz. They pick it up nicely, but the ball is underthrown, and a flag is down. That's down way over here on the near side.
Offside.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty.
Ron, when you look at Jamie Barnett's statistics, he needs 2,475 yards to break Ben Bennett's ACC passing record. He's passed for more than 200 yards in 21 of his 29 starts. So there's a lot going on here tonight. One, they don't protect him. Two, the receivers aren't getting open. When Michael Keane recruited him, Jamie Barnett was a run-and-shoot quarterback, and I'll finish the story after the play.
Second down with the penalty. They need to take him out to the 26-yard line. Leak bounces it outside, and he breaks it open at the 30-yard line. It's still fighting his way. And Mac, it's the young man I told you 2 weeks ago Saturday at the scrimmage I saw, because the first two guys were injured. Robinson, this kid had a field day, and after the scrimmage, Michael Cain said, hey, we've moved him from wide receiver to running back, and he has adapted extremely well. Well, he shows why right there.
He's looked the best, other than Robinson, at the tailback position. But again, to recap that situation, all those tailbacks were hurt. KJ Stone got the best chance. He fumbled on the first play, and I'm sure we're going to see him more. We get to South Carolina game next week. Stone will be back in there. Spikes will be back in.
Texas shows blitz. Lee Jackson, and he's going to be all over the quarterback as Jackson from his strong safety position. And for a big kid, he runs extremely well, and he was all over him.
Well, they're taking advantage of the center position. They're taking advantage of this offensive line. And Michael Cain is looking for ways to protect Jamie Barnett. And I'm sure South Carolina is going to watch this game tonight, and they're going to heat him up next week. So until he gets some help, the running back, any help at all there, you've got to be able to protect the quarterback, give him a chance to play.
So with that, a huge loss pushes the line of scrimmage back just inside the 23. Lee got some running room, and then is going to be tagged hard by Quentin Jammer. And Quentin has been a whirling dervish ever since he injured that shoulder, and he's still been playing with reckless abandon. And it looks as though that Jammer is down again. Well, he's obviously playing with a lot of pain, but this may be the end of the road for him tonight.
Ron, I want to go back to Jamie Barnett. Mike O'Kane recruited him, and when they got him on campus, he wasn't as big as they thought he was when they recruited him, and he looked bad. They had him drop a little bit, and the pass didn't look good throwing the football. And all of a sudden they said, well, let's move him to defensive back or wide receiver, and they timed him, and he timed out at 4.8, which is too slow for a defensive back. So they said that may be a mistake because he's supposed to be a 4.6, so they timed him again, 4.8 again. So they left him at quarterback, and he got calling his mom and dad every day, and he said, they're trying to move me, and they'd say the same thing: stay focused, keep working, it'll work out. And then all of a sudden they were forced to start him against Alabama as a redshirt freshman. Told him on Friday, and he threw for 260 yards. The rest is history. And he's from a small town, Roxborough, North Carolina. He said 7 stoplights. They just added 2. So he's proud of what he's accomplished. He needs some help tonight.
Well, they go to a shotgun on this 3rd down. NC State needs to move the ball to the 45-yard line to keep this drive going. Texas coming with a blitz again, but it's picked up. A pass lobbed over the middle, and Coleman couldn't hold on. And it looked as though that one hit him right in the hands.
And you look at a secondary, and then that's why Jamie Barnett's frustrated, because Texas was ranked about 94th in pass efficiency defense in the secondary last year. So he knows he's got some guys he can work against, but so far Texas has been up to the challenge.
Scott Earwood looking again at a 10-man rush. This is the 6th punt of the night, and they got the return on again. And this time the kick is not quite as good. They're going to hit the turf, and Hodges Mitchell can't do anything about it, as it'll go dead at the 23. So timeout on the field. 9:25 left in the 3rd quarter. 17-9 Texas. And time is back in. 17-9. Texas leading, and you can see just under 10 minutes to play 3rd quarter. And the Longhorn offense back on the field. Backers creeping up. LeVar Fisher comes with a blitz, and they just stymie that play. Clayton White will wind up with a tackle, but the blocking scheme just went awry as the linebackers came up, and they had to pick him up first.
You talked about talking to Clayton White yesterday, and he made it clear he dislikes Mack Brown. And because of North Carolina ties, he said, hey, you choose. I grew up in North Carolina. I don't like North Carolina. I don't like Mack Brown. And a lot of the players made the same comment. Mack Brown said, hey, tell them I'm not playing.
NC State goes again to that 3-man rush. Here comes the blitz with Clayton White. That pass complete to Nunez, puts the head down, and he will be stopped at around the 27. Harrison and Wilson out there to make the stop.
Ron, remember Major Applewhite got tagged in the first half. Good outside. The knee was bothering him a little bit. Clinton Johnson with the hit, then they tried the quarterback sneak. I think it bothered him a little bit. They didn't make the first down, but he's come back.
So it's third down. Texas needs the 32 as Mitchell goes in motion. It's him top of the screen. Here comes the blitz again. Applewhite got Cavill at the 50, and he is thrown down after the first down by Brian Williams. Boy, what a good athlete Cavill is. 27 yards. He just springs forward, and you're not going to see him drop many footballs.
Well, Mac Brown said he might be the best football player on our entire team. Brian Williams finally catches up and makes the tackle. A lot of crossing routes by Texas, trying to take advantage of man-to-man coverage in the secondary of North Carolina State.
Cavill, really a fun-loving kid, too. He is one of the leaders on this offensive team. Here comes a corner blitz right over the middle. Got him open again. Ball is on the ground, and the fumble by Thompson, I should say, has been recovered by NC State. So a fumble by Nunez, and now a fumble by Jamal Thompson. And Clayton White with the recovery.
Now, Brian Williams with the hit, the sophomore safety that played as a true freshman, makes the hit on Thompson, in a big turnover again because it gets that defense off the field.
Started to say for two reasons. Not only because Texas was driving, but to get that defense off the field. So the Wolfpack will take it over at their own 38-yard line. Robinson is back in a tailback. It's Coleman in motion, but it's Robinson back into the boundary, going to be hit behind the line. Cedric Woodard, the senior out of Swaney, Texas, was a defensive tackle. Now they've moved him outside, and he has responded wonderfully. 6'3", 295.
Yeah, total domination by the defensive line of Texas. They're not allowing anything run-wise or pass-wise. Chris Coleman went in motion last play, Ron, and that's something that could help him get away from bump and run coverage, and some may give him a better release.
Good look at Chris Coleman, senior out of Shelby. They've tried every way to get his hands on the football. Safety blitz. There's Jackson again, and missed the tackle, and wide open, and he dropped the football.
He wanted to run.
Good heavens. I mean, Hamrick, the defensive back, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe Walker, was it Walker or was it Brooks, had fallen down.
That's one where you have the next day and say it could have been 6.
Well, the other thing is, if you're a Texas fan, you say he should have been sacked and he broke the tackle.
Depends how you look at it. Jamie Barnett did a good job stepping away from the sack.
See, he didn't
wrap up. Now he throws. Sean Rogers had an arm on him. Now he throws the ball to Hamrick. He tried to run a little bit
before he
had the football.
Sean Rogers is the man who had his hands around him, knocked him away from Lee Jackson, and then the pass drop. Pressure up the middle. Oh, did he get his head taken off? I can't believe that Barnett's going to get up after this one, Mike. He got hit with a head-high tackle by Cedric Woodard, and just, wow.
It's a combination. The receivers are not getting away from coverage, and the offensive line does not pick up the line movement. Cedric Woodard just belts Jamie Barnett.
Can't take many of those and keep getting up. You have to think they got to get him some protection. 7th punt of the night, and they come after him, and he gets it away. Line drive. Mitchell with a fair catch at the 25. So let's take a break. 6:32 remaining, third quarter. Longhorns continue to lead. We'll be right back.
That's one too of a player I don't know about. I'll believe or not.
Good look on the sideline at this NC State team as the punt, fair caught at the 25-yard line. And again, Applewhite gives it off in the running play, and it's Victor Ike who weaves his way across the 30. Pennell making the tackle. We were just looking during the timeout, ice being applied to the hamstring of wide receiver Ryan Hamrick, and we also were commenting how many can Jamie Barnett take, like the last 2 that he got from Woodard, and still continue to play.
Well, not only that, Ron, but when you trade the films to the next opponent and the next opponent, and they see you don't pick up blitzes and you can hit your quarterback, when that bus of the opponent pulls up at the stadium, they're going to go after you.
Well, you see the senior leadership of Jamie Barnett there holding a little meeting on the sideline.
Now, last year, NC State's pass offense was 12th in the country. Texas pass efficiency defense was 94. So you'd expect NC State to come in here and throw the ball. But Torrey Holt's gone. He's in the pros right now. And he has not been replaced tonight, and they have not been protected.
Texas with a first down. About to go under 5 minutes to play, third quarter. Play action, throws it back into the sideline, and got it complete to Flowers. Flowers was about to drop that ball. He wanted to get out of bounds in the way.
Tony Scott with a hit. NC State with 2 good corners. They're being tried tonight because this Texas offense, Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, Darrell Drake, the wide receiver coach, they are spreading the football around. They are attacking this defense with every weapon they have. It's an outstanding called job tonight by Greg Davis.
Scott has gone to the bench as the pitchback comes in the running play, and Ike with a nice second effort. He's going to have the first down at the 48. Edric Smith holding on to him.
Mike Williams, Ron, the backup tackle, and this is where substitutions come into play. Was blocking on Clayton White, and he was driving him down the football field. He couldn't get off the block.
Mike Williams is another one that the coaches think is going to be very good. He's only a sophomore, but another 300 plus. 6'6", 339 on Mike. He's from Texas. He is a colony unto himself. Ike waits for the blocker, cuts it back up inside, and is around the 45-yard line.
Another nice block by Mike Williams, again showing some good feet. They talk about Leonard Davis being a dancing bear. Well, on the other side, you got Mike Williams, a backup that looks to me like he's a pretty good tackle.
Ike rushing 9 for 54. There's Big Leonard getting a rest on the bench.
Number 63 with a nice good seal block. Open it up for Victor Ike.
Brown with a good block in that last play as well, was the lead man from that fullback spot. Applewhite with a very long call this time. A count, and a flag comes down, and that's probably going to be offensive holding from where it was thrown. Burnett and Lyons combining on the stop. A couple of guys that are substitute linebackers getting a little playing time right now.
Well, Kent Briggs, the co-coordinators, and Jeff Snipes, they found a way. Penalties, turnovers.
On the offense, on a running play, the penalty's 10 yards, the spot of the foul. Second down.
They've given up a lot of yardage, but they find ways to stop Texas. So this game's still up for grabs.
New rule this year.
From the line of scrimmage. I like
the
that.
Running play.
Offensive coaches obviously got in the rules committee.
So it's going to be a second down and 15 rather than from the previous spot, which obviously is the line of scrimmage. Instead of a second down and 20, it's a second down and 15. It's Ike as the lone setback, number 28. Applewhite going to be caught, and he will be sacked. Clayton White, who has been everywhere this evening. Second time that NC State has gotten to Applewhite this evening. And that's going to be a loss of another 6 yards.
He wears that number 15. He goes all the way back to youth football. He just didn't want to give that number up.
I happened to be watching Victor Ike on that play, and he couldn't make up his mind who to pick up because they were coming from everywhere, every direction. Third down and a mile. They got to take it to the NC State 41. Applewhite over the middle, got it complete, and Cavill caught by the shoulder pad by Wilson and is dragged out.
Wanda Cavell.
It was a nice tackle by Adrian Wilson.
Number 1, Adrian Wilson on the tackle.
They got some young safeties that are going to be around for a long time. Number 1, Adrian Wilson. Catching up to Cavill and bringing him down, forcing the punt.
Ryan Long to punt again. And as usual, Chris Coleman is the deep return man for the Wolfpack. They're coming after him right up the middle. This is best kick of the night. Very high and a long spiral. Makes the catch at the 10. Breaks by one tackler, and he'll fight it back to the 15. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten down on the sideline.
Ron, I spent my entire summer vacation, the entire month of July, with two very good friends of mine. The 1999 Tour de France champion from Austin, Lance Armstrong, and his fantastic wife, Kristen. Lance, so many people watched our coverage of the Tour on ABC and ESPN because you're a great athlete, yes, but also because you recovered from cancer. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The experience itself and what it's like to come back in the Whirlwind Tour in New York City, now back in Texas.
Oh, it's unbelievable. We really haven't been in Austin very long. We actually got back this afternoon, and you know, the Coach Brown and his wife Sally were nice enough to invite us down. Great people and a great university, great institution.
Good to get you off the bike and back into the game that I dearly love. Kristen, you're due in October with your first child. It's fun to have him back, isn't it?
Yes, it's wonderful having him back. We're due to be parents in 8 weeks, so we're really excited.
Thanks very much for taking the time this evening. Lance came out on that Trek bicycle made in Waterloo, Wisconsin with the game balls. A lot of fun tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, Adrian, thanks so much. And Mike, I can tell you, the young man being a resident of this city, when he did come back to town, they had a huge parade downtown. And what he overcame may not just be the sports story of 1999, but the decade and maybe also the century. That's just, there were doctors who said it goes beyond impossible. He just did something they really didn't think could happen, and medical science had not seen that kind of situation. So, boy, our hats off to him and to his beautiful wife, and expecting that baby now. What a greater thing to happen to them now after winning the Tour de France. Leak is the tailback. Ball is fumbled. It's on the ground at the 10. They continue to scramble for it. And this is what we continue to talk about. Knutson, I should say, is how you pronounce it. Ryan Knutson has moved in at center. He's normally the starting right guard. Weir went down. There you see him on the sideline with the broken leg. Derek Green, a true freshman that came in the ballgame. So Knutson is the man handling it. And
the ball didn't get up to the quarterback's hands, and Knutson's a guard. He probably didn't get much work in the fall camp because he would have been the third center.
1 of 10 on third down conversions, and this crowd is standing and cheering for the Longhorn defense. Barnett, far sideline, incomplete, up at 4. Coleman is the guy that he wanted. Brooks with the cover. And I'll tell you, Earwood has been blasting him, and he needs to blast one right here. Standing ovation for this defense.
I was going to say, Texas defense has done its job. Now they set the offense up with good field position.
Can't get to him. Good job by NC State. Mitchell all the way back to the 38. And Hodges is going to run out of bounds at the 45. Well, coming up tomorrow on ABC, the opening weekend of the college football season continues as Michael Wiley and the 9th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes square off against the number 12 Miami Hurricanes at the kickoff classic from the New Jersey Meadowlands at 2:30 Eastern. Brown and Mitchell, the setbacks this time. Got him over the middle. I don't know what happened. Montrell Flowers either lost that ball in the lights or something. It looked as though it almost hit him.
Right through his hands. This is a time of the game where if you're Mac Brown, you want to put it away. You got great field position. You just need to go down and get some points and get without a reach of one score in a 2-point play. You don't want to let Jamie Barnett hang around too long.
Mitchell hit behind the line, knocked down for a yard loss, and Wilson, along with 56, Nate Goodson, combining on the stop. And now it's going to be a third down situation. Gives NC State an opportunity to bring in that extra defensive back.
It's Kaysen, number 7, coming on the field, replacing Jeff Fisher.
You know, the man they would like to get it to is number 9, Kwame Cavill. But NC State's been all over him for a goodly part of the night. And Texas is going to let that clock run out. That is the end of the third quarter. So we'll take a timeout. With the Longhorns leading 17-9. We head to the final 15 minutes of action. Back with more from Austin right after this. Well, we're back. The situation, third down, and the line to make. In fact, you can see that yellow line, and that's where they have to go, to the 46-yard line of NC State to keep this one going. From a shotgun, Applewhite got a man wide open, and he overthrew Hodges Mitchell out of the backfield. I'm not sure Mitchell was his number 1 or his primary, but boy, he was open because the linebackers had overdropped completely.
Another good job by this defense, keeping North Carolina State in this football game. They're still alive.
Might be a little bit of fatigue on Applewhite's part because he normally is a very accurate quarterback, but he missed a touchdown pass to Smith back in the first half, and that one right there, he had him wide open. Very high, good coverage kick, not very far, and takes a huge Texas bounce inside the 15. 44 yards in the punt and nothing on the return. By the way, I mentioned that line to make, part of the technology that we have used in the past, but we are happy to say that we'll have it on Thursday and Saturday nights this year. A primetime college football. Give you a better idea of where the offense has to take it to keep a drive going. Hamrick is back in the ball game. We mentioned that they had been rubbing down his hamstring on the far sideline, but obviously he's in good enough shape to be out there. That pass is dropped by Coleman. And let's check it again with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Temperature update, 88 degrees. It's just after 10 p.m. Central Time. Good to be in your hometown, Ron. And I was talking to Lance Armstrong, who is obviously an endurance athlete. He said, had this been anywhere near this warm in the south of France this summer, he doubts he ever would have won the Tour. This, as I say, coming from an endurance athlete who weighs about 148 pounds. Obviously, football players are not endurance athletes, save these so-called specialty positions. And I'm watching now the backs and receivers. These guys are still doing a pretty darn good job. It's the guys up front who are really beginning to suffer.
Yeah, the big bodies are beginning to experience more wear and tear. Right up the middle, pass is complete to Coleman. And again, as the pass was delivered, Cedric Woodard came across and leveled Jamie Barnett.
Yeah, he gets hit every play, and that's what Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator, wants to do. They want to make sure, even if he completes the football, he takes the hit. Cedric Woodard knocks him to the ground.
Boy, that's the first completed pass after 10 misses.
Yeah, nice route by Coleman. Ball thrown right on the break.
Ball is fumbled. Texas has recovered at the 28-yard line.
Ron, it's tough when you get to your third center. He hasn't had much work in preseason camp. He's a starting guard. The wheels have come off. And there's nothing you can do as a coach. You play with the hand you got. You get an injury with Weir early in the ball game, and it's affected this offense.
Rawls is the man who made the recovery.
Here's the snap. Just didn't get up, and then bounces on the Texas side of the line of scrimmage.
Running play, hit in the backfield is Ike. He may have gotten it back to the line of scrimmage, but I think he's going to lose about a half yard as Nate Goodson wraps him up. NC State that time looked to me like all three linebackers.
They bring them all. They've been successful with North Carolina State. Ron 6 out of 20. in the passing department. It's a combination of injuries in the offensive line, young receivers, veteran quarterback. Hasn't missed.
Fake it to Ike, keeps the ball, and he fumbles it. And how Applewhite got it back, I don't know. Because he was being embraced by George Anderson. And if that ball is picked up, it's 6 points.
That could have been the play that Michael O'Kane needed, because if George Anderson strips this football, he makes the tackle, punches the ball out, but just bounced right for Major Applewhite. Well, this defense just keeps coming up with big plays. Now they're faced with another third down.
Almost a third turnover for the Longhorns. So third down and very long. Can they take advantage of the turnover?
You got to keep them out of field goal.
Stockton, as we mentioned, his longest 53. Blitz right up the middle. LeVar Fisher after him, and LeVar Fisher will get the sack. It's the 4th time that they have gotten to Applewhite this evening.
You talk about a gutty performance. Now this defense, LeVar Fisher, Edric Smith, Clayton White, the linebackers, they are playing lights out. They still know this game's in balance and they can win this football game. They give up the turnover, but they turn the ball back to their offense, and they gained a lot of yardage for their offensive football team.
Make a point if I can after this punt. You see Victor Ike trying to pick up the blitz, and one of the things he's going to have to learn, or that ball is rolled back to the punter, and it's blocked. Second one they've gotten tonight, and NC State is going to take it in with Tony Scott for the touchdown, and we have a 17-15 ball game.
And they got to go to two-point play right now, but Terrence's brother of Torrey Holt made this block. And he said, I want to be this. His goal, Torrey Holt's brother Terrence said, it's in the press guide, I want to be the ACC Special Teams Player of the Year.
Marcel Blanchard is the man who rolled the snap back to the punter. And for the second time tonight, Chris Stockton has a punt blocked. One for a safety, and now this one for a touchdown.
What a job by the defense. Kent Briggs, Jeff Snipes, Joe Pate. They got to be proud of their defensive football.
They're going to cost them a timeout.
Well, I'd take a timeout here. This is too big right here with 12-01.
But see, Barnett, Mike, is extremely upset because they're missing a person on offense.
Still may work out best, though. Take time to. You always know what your two-point play is. Here's the player that needs to get on the football field. Derek Green come into the. Here's the punt block. Bad snap. There's the block by Terrence Holt. And then Scott picks it up for the touchdown. Wow. Turn around. Special teams again, Ron. And Texas felt good about blocking the other team's kick, and they've had 2 blocks of their own. There's the first one by Leak that they got a safety.
I'll tell you, they have responded with
Here's the muff on the kickoff, on the punt. It happens every year, you know, high school, college, and it's because you plug new players in. It's tough to work against your own team full speed in the kicking game. That's why they always say you make more improvement in the first game than the second game as a team, because you get all the mistakes ironed out.
So here's the situation. 12-1 left in the ball game. Texas 17, NC State 15, and the Wolfpack trying to tie it up with this 2-point conversion. And they have asked for the ball to be placed on the left hash mark, as you can see at the 3.
Well, they're slow getting out of the huddle.
In the flat, incomplete. Roberts is the man they were looking for. Couldn't hold on to it. Yeah, Mac Brown, after saying that they had worked 45 minutes a day on special teams, he and Coach Tollison are going to be extremely upset with this effort tonight. Let's take a timeout. 2-point game. We'll be right back. On2's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Quality Care Service at your Ford and Mercury dealers. State Capitol.
I thought that was your house here in Austin.
Right.
You got that big house.
Yeah, there, see that light on the far right there? That's your room tonight. But that young lady's got a head start on the heat this evening. We're all the way under 90 now, folks.
Now that's where Governor Bush operates out of, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
This is a short kick going to be taken at the 13-yard line by Jones. And Jones hit hard and down at the 26. And now let's see how that Texas offense responds, because they have had some opportunities, missed on a touchdown pass over the middle to Chris Smith in the first half. Yeah, and they've turned the ball over a couple times when they were driving.
I don't blame the plan, because the plan by Mac Brown's team has been excellent. It hasn't been executed all that well, but that's pretty good. He's 20 out of 28 for one touchdown. Missed a couple throws as the young Chris Sims awaits his turn. Mac Brown said he wants to get him in the game because he needs to get him some experience.
Hodges Mitchell goes back in. He is a much better blocker. And I wonder if that's going to keep the Texas coaches from playing Ike anymore in the ballgame.
I don't think so.
That's Kwame Cavill.
He played very well, Ron. They're just going to work
like
on
he missed every time on pickups.
They'll work on that, and he'll be back in there. He made some mistakes tonight, but he's electric carrying the football and catching it out of the backfield. They need a drive now. Greg Davis calling those plays, needs to keep this Wolfpack defense off balance.
Nunez is the man at the top of the screen. Cavill underneath him. And they swing it out to Cavill. Got it complete. He'll have the Texas first down. Tony Scott right there on it.
Here's a nice adjustment, though, by Major Applewhite, Greg Davis, Mac Brown. Now they start to roll him out. They were getting a lot of pressure, a lot of blitzes up inside. So what do? Roll the quarterback out. So give Kent Briggs and Jeff Snipes something else to work on. Nice little adjustment.
11:40 to play in the ballgame. Cavill now 8 catches for 64. Boy, first downs now. Texas 17-7, but it's a 2-point game as the Wolfpack hanging tough. Fisher on the blitz, and Mitchell gets the handoff, and you can see him trying to pull Clayton White along with him. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten again. Adrian?
Keeping a very close eye on Applewhite here, Ron. That knee is starting to stiffen up again on the sidelines. When he gets back on the field, he has less pain actually when he sprints out, or tries to sprint out, that is, to the right or left side, as opposed to backpedaling to set up for a pass. This case, there's going to be any quarterback change, however, because there is a difference in passing style between Applewhite and Sims.
Boy, I don't think Coach Brown would want to do it right now with this score.
No, with this score, there's not going to be any change.
Second down, got that quick pass, got it complete, and I'm telling you, he was within a breath, Hodges Mitchell. If Wilson doesn't grab his jersey, we could have been off to the races with another play.
Ron, here's another good adjustment. You take the tailback, Hodges Mitchell, out, you flank him out, you put him against the safety, Adrian Wilson, who's not used to being outside. Here's Mitchell right here. Now you got a safety off of him. He's a good pass receiver. Another nice adjustment by this Texas coaching staff.
Third down. The running play with Mitchell, and he is going to have the first down. Close to midfield. Goodson makes the tackle, and Clayton White, lucky he didn't get a penalty for top of the headgear onto Mitchell and on the ground.
Well, John Makovic nicknamed him Scooter, Hodges Mitchell, and interesting, Mac played with his dad at Florida State, and he was his roommate of the father of Hodges Mitchell on the road games. So he knows this young man, has a lot of confidence in him, and with 10-22 in the game, he's putting all his faith in him.
Edric Smith, the fine middle linebacker for NC State, is the man who was injured. You can see he is favoring, it's either the ankle or the right knee. 4 tackles for him tonight.
He had 184 tackles, Edric Smith, in his high school senior year. He must have been all over the field.
So it's first down. The ball just shy of the 50-yard line. Applewhite, quick pass right over there. Can't hold on. Cavill really got unloaded on by Tony Scott.
When you play this secondary of the Wolfpack, you better bring your lunch, because they'll hit you. Scott will hit you. We saw Adrian Wilson and Brian Williams, the sophomore twin safeties. There's a good hit by Scott, and of course you got Lloyd Harrison, the all-ACC performer, on the Jim Thorpe list at the other corner. So it's a very good secondary.
2nd and 10.
9:59 left in the ball game, and it's a 2-point game, 17-15, Texas. Here comes the blitz by the corner, and they throw the middle screen to Nunez, and nothing doing. That's a nice job defensively by George Anderson, the freshman, and he's from LaPorte, Texas.
When you talk about a big third down run now right here, you're talking about George Anderson from Texas all the way to NC State, and Brian Williams tackle. The pressure now falls to the major to keep these chains moving, not give the ball back to NC State.
I think as much as anything, Mac Brown didn't want to have to punt again.
I'd say Cavill. Yeah, you're right. Cavill is the guy I'd look for.
Here comes the pressure. Applewhite lobs it long, got Cavill wide open. Inside the 25, and he stepped out of bounds at the 25. He got Lloyd Harrison, which is hard to do because Lloyd, the preseason All-American, he got him turned totally around, and it's a gain of 24.
Well, Kwame Cavill is your guy that you've got to go to. There's no bigger play than this play in this ball game because they sprint Major Applewhite out. He gets Brian Williams and Lloyd Harrison turned. Cavill makes the big pass reception and now puts this Texas offense in business.
So they move the chains down to the 25. NC State had one too many folks on the field. They had to get one of those linebackers off quickly. Applewhite pumps it once, going to go for the end zone, and that's a nice job defensively. They thought Hodges Mitchell might get his man to bite, and Adrian Wilson said, nope, nothing doing. And there is a flag down at the 32. And that's going to be, Applewhite is applauding. Obviously, it's against the Wolfpack.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. Penalties half distance to the goal line. First down.
It's going to be on Brian Jamison, number 20, a defensive end. Hit Major Applewhite a little bit late. Coming from the backside. Ball's already been delivered. Good call.
So the new line of scrimmage following the penalty is the 13. It is first down, and Victor Ike checks in the tailback. That is Ike in motion, top of the screen. Applewhite lofts it for the end zone and overthrows Cavill.
Ron, I like these adjustments. So I've got to tell you, this Texas football team is coached very, very well. You give them blitzes up inside. What do? They sprint out away from the blitz. So they react to what you do. Mac Brown, they know they're going to recruit down here. This is a well-coached football team on both sides of the ball. They made a good adjustment. Yeah, good adjustment.
Coach Nunez, you were just looking at, is the offensive line coach.
He was the offensive coordinator at Marshall when Moss was there.
Second down and 10. NC State trying to close the door after the first down at the 13, and Ike hit at the line of scrimmage. In fact, he may not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. First man there is LeVar Fisher, and now it's going to be third down Texas.
Now you look for some kind of crossing routes, Ron, and I'd go right back to Cavill, somehow trying to get him on some type of crossing route or bring him back out of the backfield. They've had success with that tonight. Hodges Mitchell being a receiver. Victor Ike coming out of the backfield.
Well, the tight end is Mike Jones. They haven't gone to the tight end since way back in the first quarter. Blitz off the corner. Quick pass, got it complete, and that's who they go to. The tight end, and Jones is tackled with an ankle-high grab by Brian Williams.
A big tackle that keeps him from the first down.
He also might have scored had he not got it.
Without a doubt. Again, another nice play by the young sophomore safety, Brian Williams. The blitz is on, man-to-man coverage. That puts him on the tight end, Mike Jones. He makes the tackle, keeps him from getting the first down.
So this field goal attempt is going to come from the right hash mark, 27 yards.
16-yard line.
Already made one tonight from 49. Good pass. Kick is good.
It's good.
So there's a timeout on the field. 7:28 to play in the ball game, and the new score: Texas 20, NC State 15. 20-15, Texas leads. And if you have any question whether Major Applewhite is picking up just where he left off last year, 26 of 36, 287, and 1 touchdown.
Competition will make. He knows he's got that young Chris Sims behind him, so he can't afford to be lax on the practice field or in any study of the opponent. He's got to keep him on the bench by playing very, very well.
Stockton with the kick. And this one is 5 yards deep. Started to bring it out, and his teammates say, nope, let's take it at the 20. Again, let's check in on the sideline with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, we don't expect to see sophomore middle linebacker Edric Smith for NC State play anymore tonight with a hyper-extension of his knee. Ice on it now.
Of course, Adrian, the other thing that is extremely difficult is next week, South Carolina coming up. And with that kind of injury, you have to think that he would not be set to go for that game. That's a tough loss for NC State in this ball game for starters, and he can't go next week. Robinson is the tailback. Shotgun formation. 7:22 to play. Safety blitz. Lee Jackson coming after the quarterback, and it is caught by the tight end Vanderveer.
Pass complete to number 88.
Well, next Saturday here on ESPN2, another college football doubleheader at 3 Eastern. It's the AXA East-West Showdown, West Virginia and East Carolina from Charlotte. Then at 7 o'clock, defending national champion Tennessee against the Wyoming Cowboys. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from Austin, Texas in this Black Coaches Association Classic. He didn't get that play off. You could see the play clock go to 0, and instead of it down at about 4, they're going to scrimmage with 2nd and 9.
They're slow getting out of the huddle. They were slow on the 2-point play.
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Ron, a lot of people would question Michael O'Kane playing this football game and really question Mac Brown because a tough opponent. But it's tougher for North Carolina State because you got to come down here to Texas and play. But he said we need the recognition. We're trying to play the best teams in the country. We know we get a chance to make a first impression. Mac Brown feels the same way on national TV on the first Saturday of football.
Mike O'Kane told me when I was up there for their scrimmage, he said at first I said no, and then I called my AD back the next day and said, yeah, I think we should play it. That's Hamrick, who catches the ball just shy of the first down. So it'll be a 3rd and a couple. Brooks made the tackle for Texas. Yeah, he said at first I thought, no, it's not a good idea. And then he said I slept on it and thought, hey, we got everything to win and nothing to lose.
Staff has done a great job. In 1997, they were 3-5. The people were calling for his head. The buzzards were flying around, and he had 3 games left to East Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland. He beat East Carolina, and I'll finish the story here in a second.
3rd down. They need to take it to the 30. Got the pass. Did he catch it? The official says no. Hamrick trapped the ball. Brooks was over there defending. We were obscured momentarily, but the player standing right there. It was hard to tell if he had caught the football or not. And it is a no catch. 4th down in a punting situation.
Let's take a look at it. Ryan Hamrick argued about it.
No, it hit the ground.
I don't know. I didn't see it hit the ground. We'd have to look at it again.
Movement in interior land. 5 yards will be stepped off.
Before the snap, false start on the offense.
Well, Hamrick's still pretty upset, so let's look again.
I don't know. It looks like a pretty good catch to me.
Yeah, you're right. That is a catch. Did not hit the ground. Hanging spiral. Hodges Mitchell signals for the fair catch at the 45 and makes it. 5:55 remaining before we go away. There's a flag down at the 43.
There's a flag on the field.
Well, we are back. Running play from behind, and he's going to be wrestled down by Brian Williams, unable to turn the corner.
Defense has come up big. Special teams for North Carolina State. They got to come up one more time.
And while we were away, the penalty assessed for blocking the back by the Longhorns. That's the reason they're scrimmaging from their own 35-yard line. They're going to say that Mitchell gained a couple.
You'll get a damn pick. Okay? You'll get a damn pick if you're damn not giving away.
Applewhite rolls the pocket, got a man wide open. That's Cavill, got as much as he could. Then Tony Scott trips him up out of bounds. And Adrian, let's check with you again.
Significant run at the Black Coaches Association Classic. To mention that between these two teams, there are a total of 13 black coaches who have a direct relationship and effect on these varsity football programs. And tonight's game being a sellout means that $750,000, $750,000 goes to the BCA Postgraduate Scholarship Fund. Very significant.
Mike Brown said yesterday, we asked him, he said he's got 9 guys that are African-American young men who work with this football team directly. Tony Scott to cover that time on Kwame Cavill, and Texas is going to have to punt it away with 5:09 left in this football game.
And the punt has been an experience for Texas.
It's been an adventure.
So now you got to go after him again. He will get this away quick. Ryan Long.
6th punt of the evening for Texas. This is best kick of the night. Mike, he was slow in getting that one off though. This is Coleman from the 10. And Corey, a freshman who was the National Defensive Player of the Year, who signed on as part of that top recruiting class, is downfield on special teams to make the stop. Well, coming up next week on ESPN, Mark Malone hosts NFL Tonight. Coming up next here on ESPN2, Sean Salisbury, Mike Golick joining Mark in the studio with the latest from around the NFL as we approach the beginning of the season. NFL Tonight, right after this ball game. Puts it on top and intercepted by Brooks.
Trying to get to Warren Robinson, probably the fastest receiver on this football team. Jamie Barnett just overthrew him. 6'2", 197-pound freshman threw it behind him. Ahmad Brooks with the interception, and now just the offense for Texas needs to run out this clock for Texas's first victory of the season.
Still 4:49 left on the clock. Victor Ike is the man at tailback. He gets the handoff, and as soon as he gets it, LeVar Fisher is right there to hit him in the backfield and knock him down. And let's see where they're going to see forward progress. He got whacked down at the 41, so it's a loss of 4.
Jamie Barnett, tough day. Didn't get the help he needed, Ron. Frustrated, but didn't get the protection he needed. Receivers were not able to get away from coverage. Credit Texas.
Well, I don't know if you should put the chairs in the wagon on this one yet.
No, I haven't. There's still 4-13, but recapping what he's done, he's had a tough night.
Well, he has. Applewhite Gets by one tackler. Now throws back over the middle, and he underthrew that one on purpose, I believe. Clayton White was all over him.
And this Texas throwing the ball still continuing to stop the clock here, but that's their game. I'm not second guessing what they're doing. Michael O'Kane will finish that story in 97. Ron, he was 3-5. Everybody calling for his head. 1 year left on the contract. Les Robinson, he beat East Carolina. He extended his contract 5 years, which really was a great move. Les Robinson, a former coach, a gentleman, knew he had the right coach in Michael O'Kane.
Texas on third down is 3 of 14 tonight. Applewhite giving some instructions to his wide receiver. They got to take this thing all the way to the 45. Got him over the middle, Nunez, and a flag comes down. That's going to be offensive holding, I believe, from where the umpire threw it.
Getting a little sloppy as we wind down. Got to take the penalty.
Holding offense. Penalties. Fourth down.
Oh, fourth down. No, I'm wrong.
Thought it was that much time left. Yeah.
No, you got to turn it down. That's a good move by Michael O'Kane. Ryan Nunez going to catch the football, holding in the backfield, so it would have come back anyway. There's the catch, the hit. Now NC State gets a chance to get that football back again.
Looked like Blanchard was the man they got, the center, number 78. Jones sprints on the field on the special teams. And now they're still trying to get somebody else on. They got too many people. Yeah, they got 12 men on the field. Marcus Wilkins was the last man to come on.
A lot to improve on by both teams, but that's why you play the first game.
So there's a timeout. We'll take it with them. Texas by 5 with 3:31 to play in this one. There's the situation as Jamie Barnett paces on the sideline. He is anxious to get back out with his offense because they have plenty of time. But first in the works is Long, waiting for the snap, and they come after him again, and they have blocked another one, and it's been picked up at the 20, 15, at the 10, and into the end zone is Leak. Holt blocked another one.
Well, he's on his way to becoming the ACC special teams guy that everybody's going to talk about. And Eric Leaks had a good football game.
Oh, I'm telling you.
What an effort by the defense and the special teams of NC State. They've got to go for 2 here. A lot of time for Texas and Major Applewhite. Well, special teams have just turned this game around. It's been their offense.
So they go for 2. They pick up the blitz, lob it in the end zone, got a man wide open, and he's there. That's Coleman with the 2-point conversion. And now a field goal ties. Texas will have to score a touchdown if they're going to pull this one out.
Special teams again, Ron, when you look at 3 block punts. And I said that was the offense. And Holt comes in, number 9, gets his hands on the ball again. Leak picks it up. Corn Robinson. Corn Robinson was in on the block also, number 3. And then the 2-point play. Jamie Barnett waiting for Chris Coleman to come clear.
Well, we mentioned off the top of the telecast that NC State last year started very strong. They knocked off Florida State. They also knocked off Syracuse. They were the only team in the country to defeat 2 conference champions of very prominent conferences. They got Florida State in that first game, and then the night game, you were up there to see that one when they surprised Syracuse.
Yeah, Ron, their offense has been special teams. That Texas defense has manhandled NC State's offense, but special teams has been the deciding factor up to this point. But Major Applewhite still has life in him.
So Texas is going to have to come up with some lightning in the bottle and do it in about 3 minutes and 19 seconds. That one out of bounds as it got by Jeremy Jones. And it'll be scrimmaged from the 35-yard line.
Ron, here's the punt. Here's the punt blocks. First one by Leak. Resulting in a safety. Second one by Torrey Holt's brother, which was a touchdown. And then the third one by Torrey Holt's younger brother, Terrence.
So
the Major Applewhite still, like I say, their offense has been good tonight. They've got good mix.
23-20 situation, 3:17 to play. Applewhite will come out in a shotgun. They roll the pocket. Throws it complete at the 47. I believe that's Healy. And that's going to be enough for the first down. I guess right now what you say is Torrey's gone, but still Holtz is the one who has done the damage. Holt has been the bolt of lightning for NC State.
He's hurt him in different ways, but he's been the key player tonight for NC State. Ron, I like the way Major Applewhite got his shoulders squared to the line of scrimmage and threw that football on that last play.
Three-man rush. NC State will drop 8 into coverage. Nunez makes the catch, steps right out of bounds at the 49.
Now here is where Texas blew a couple timeouts because of special teams and didn't have the right guys on the field. They have one timeout left with 2:47 on the clock, so you think you can win the football game with a touchdown, but you also know you can put it in overtime with a field goal.
That man right there doesn't want to play any more than 60 minutes tonight if he can help it. I know that. NC State creeping up here. They're going to come with the blitz. Yep, they do, and they're offside. Free play over the middle. It's intercepted. Well, Wilson is going to take it down the sideline. It is a no play. Well, actually, I shouldn't say no play. It is a play, but it's offside. NC State. Corey Smith came across, and also one of the linebackers in the middle.
Free play. You take a shot.
Probably the thing also that Mack Brown and his staff would not like to have seen is the fact that number 11 came over and tried to make the tackle.
No, he did make the hit. Been impressed with Major Applewhite tonight. He's got a lot about him. He's got a presence on the field.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
This is where, Ron, big players come up right now. Cavill, Major Applewhite, Hodges, Mitchell out of the backfield. Somebody has to make a play here.
Healy is the man who is top of the screen. That's Cavill underneath number 9. They're coming with the blitz again. Gonna have to hurry and just unloads it and almost picked off.
They didn't get much on it because of the blitz.
That pass intended for
and the pressure.
Goodson.
By Nate Goodson.
Number 21, Marcel Huff, defending.
Talked about the heat early in the ball game. Both these teams have just given it their all tonight. Comes down to the last 2:32. Who's got something left?
Third down and inches. Clock shows 2:32 to play.
NC State taking a timeout. Good timeout right here. Give them a rest.
So we'll take a break with him. 23 North Carolina State, 20 Texas. We'll be right back. NC State leading by 3, and a reminder coming up next on ESPN2. Mark Malone tonight, joining him along with Merrill Hodge. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Third down and just inches.
One needed for the first.
Texas with one timeout left. Running play, Mitchell bangs it up on the left side. He didn't get the first down.
No.
He's about a half-yard shy. Goodson again making the tackle.
Number 24, Craig Moody.
There was not much movement.
There was not much movement in
the
this
Texas offensive line.
And it's
they
that
came
left side, Raisler and Davis, that they were trying to run behind.
Ran right behind their best two linemen, and NC State stopped it.
4th down. This could be the ball game if NC State can hold. 1:56 to play. Quarterback sneak and Applewhite fighting his way forward. It appears that he has it, but I'm telling you, if he does have it, it's going to be just by the nose of the football.
Yeah, I think he's got it, Ron. But and then he did better on this quarterback sneak than he did on the previous one where he didn't make it. He got a little more movement, but it's close.
I'll tell you what.
That mark, the way it's marked, he doesn't make it.
No, I don't think he does either. Michael Cain from the sideline, and you hear the boos from the crowd because they didn't agree with the spot. But it would certainly appear from here that NC State has ended this drive for Texas. We'll see. NC State ball, they hold. Goodson is the man who made the tackle. And North Carolina State will take it over with 1:49 left to play.
Here's the push on the quarterback sneak. Clayton White up there getting very low. Just a lot of bodies.
Robinson is the setback. 1:49 left. Robinson trying to hold on to the football, and now a flag comes down from the umpire right in the middle of the stack.
Holding call coming up.
Holding, offense, decline, 2nd down.
Good call, Ron, because they need the football. They don't need another play running time off the clock. Michael Cain wants to run wide or just run the football, makes hold onto the ball.
Clock is whistled back in. Running at 1:33. Now 1:32. This time, Barnett will go under center. You see each team with one timeout remaining. Robinson hit by Hampton. Casey Hampton will knock him down immediately. It'll be 3rd down at about 13. Also Cedric Woodard on the stop. 1:08 now 1:07.
Yeah, Texas will use their timeout after the 3rd down. Well, a game like this that we've watched here tonight changed completely around by 3 block punts.
Applewhite with a sensational evening throwing the football, but as Mike said, when you give up that many points on block punch, hard to expect win a football game. Robinson, he's going to be knocked down, and they'll call the timeout now.
Quick.
31 seconds is when they get the timeout called.
And Ron, every team in college, every team in the pros, every team in the high school practices this at the end of practice. You got 31 seconds to go. You got 1 timeout. You got to get in field goal range. So they've been here. They practiced it.
Here's the schedule that NC State has coming up after this one tonight. South Carolina next week, then William and Mary, then at Florida State, at Wake Forest, then home for Clemson and Virginia, then at Duke, at Georgia Tech, Maryland and Carolina at home, and then they finish it out at East Carolina.
Tough schedule. South Carolina next week. Brad Scott had 4 consecutive top 25 recruiting. So, you know, they got some players. Lou Holtz going back to where he coached. NC State sustained some injuries tonight.
Probably the one that is most damaging to them would be Edric Smith if he is unable to go, and you would think with an hyperextension of the knee that would be huge. Plus the fact Keegan Weir,
that's
the
tough,
center.
yeah.
2 guys right in the middle of things.
Everything starts with snapping the ball.
That's right. Well, let's see if they come after the punter. Earwood has been a hero tonight at times, and he gets it away. Mitchell going to pick it up inside the 20. He'll take it to the 21. And there are 21 seconds left on the clock.
Talk about Scott Earwood. He's done the best job for NC State because he just rocked and kicked. He knew he had to get it out. He didn't worry. He just wanted to get it off. But he has been the man of the hour for the Wolfpack. Somewhere Jerry Punch is watching this ball game, an NC State graduate. Very proud of Mike O'Kane and his staff.
Well, they got 21 seconds to work off the clock, and a huge win. This will be 2 years in a row that they will have opened
giant
with an
killers.
upset giant killer win. Applewhite delivers it, and incomplete. Nunez the closest man to it as Jamison was rushing, and it was Huff who tried to make the pickoff with his feet inbounds.
Well, Brian Jamison with good pressure on Major Applewhite. He's not going to give him long to throw.
.30 of 44, 360 and 1 touchdown.
I don't know if I can remember a game where it was totally dominated by a defense and then give up 3 scores in the kicking game.
Applewhite steps up, and he's going to throw that one out of bounds. Cavill was the closest to it, and he was about 6 yards under it. What Mike is talking about tonight, Texas has 21 first downs and NC State 7, but 3 blocked kicks.
Turned it all
That's
around.
the difference in the football game. And a guy by the name of Holt, the younger brother, steps up big, carrying the banner of the Holt name for the Wolfpack of NC State.
Mac Brown's his football team's ahead of him, Ron. You know, living down here, recruited very well. It's a young football team.
Applewhite going to go on top on this one, and it'll be intercepted by the All-American Lloyd Harrison. And with that, the clock runs out, and North Carolina State comes away with an upset victory over the 16th ranked Texas Longhorns. And these kids from Raleigh are dancing all over this field, and for good reason. 23-20, our final score, NC State. Coming up next on ESPN2, NFL Tonight. Join us next Saturday over on ESPN for the South Carolina coaching debut of Lou Holtz as the Gamecocks take on North Carolina State. For Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. Good night, everybody, from Austin, Texas.